our people, they don't like the word saving, investing, wealth. Tell them about spending money and you'll see. Some financial advisors will even tell you. They'll say to you, like, listen, before we even talk about money, tell me how you saw your father handling money.
They start right from the beginning.
100. Tell me how, like, because that dictates the relationship that you've got with money.
Yeah.
Your money comes in and money left, and I didn't see it.
I don't even know what happened.
I don't know what happened with this money. Like it didn't sit for too long. We're just optimistic as a nation.
I guess.
There's potholes on the road. Yeah, but it's still okay.
There's no water.
Yeah, there's no water. It's still okay. Like I love it. Yeah, it's
load shedding. We make fun of it.
Do you know what I mean? We are spenders. We are not savers. Japan are net savers. Extremely. They save like nobody's business. They had a problem with deflation.
You save what? Because you have nothing. That's also...
Yeah, you see, that's a different problem on its own. That speaks to budgeting.
It can also speak to poverty.
Listen, there are other countries that are worse than us.
Which one? Can we at least celebrate our position in the...
No, the US is highly indebted as a nation.
King David Studio Podcast.
If there's one thing that I've seen, because we are spenders, South Africans are spenders.
Yeah.
The minute you say save, the minute you say, hey.
You're asking me,
hey, what is this?
You're asking me to go against my nature.
It's not natural. It doesn't come naturally to us. We are spending people. And maybe, one could say, or no, if you are precluded and you're being put into like an area where you are not able to do anything else except to spend the money.
Yeah.
Probably at a tavern or whatever the case might be. That's a mindset. You see that in your parents, you see that in your mom, in your dad, in your uncle, and what have you. And as some financial advisors will even tell you, they'll say to you, like, listen, before we even talk about money, tell me how you saw your father handling money.
They start right from the beginning.
100. Tell me how, like, because that dictates the relationship that you've got with money.
Yeah.
You see. So if now I say to Brother David and I say, Brother David, but listen, I need you to hold on to 10 rands. Hey. Come on.
And it's one 10 rands of only two.
Of only two. You see. And you still can't compute or know, man. I must. I should. So hey, I don't know. Like, but I know our people, they don't like the word saving, investing, wealth. Tell them about spending money and you'll see.
Interesting. On the show today, I was doing what did you do with your two-pot?
Yeah.
And there's a guy who sent a voice note and said, I don't know what happened to it. It came and left. I remember I even made a joke. I said, so it walked in, you waved, it waved back, and then you both went in two different directions. There's a lot of people who say, look, I had debts and I wiped them out and I was owing a friend money and I didn't like that and I paid them. Yeah. And some was I paid my kids' school. To me, that is a good reason.
No, it is.
Yes.
So as long as you're intentional.
Yeah.
So that's the key thing. You have to be intentional about a lot of these things. You see, but that velocity that you talk about. You see, money comes in and money left, and I didn't see it.
I don't even know what happened.
I don't know what happened with this money. Like it didn't sit for too long.
No way.
You see.
Yeah.
But it's part of my the fintech that I actually started to slow down money.
There's a guy who says, there's a lady who says, yo, Abuti.
Yeah.
He got it because another question I was asking us, how long did the money take from when you started applying and to when you actually got it? So I get the challenges and the difficulties that people went through. And there's a lady that said, Abuti, it didn't take very long for him to get it. Yeah. And once he got it, one day was enough. He was he was a person of the people.
The person was happy.
Yes.
No, but Brother David, it's not the 30,000 that worries me. That's tiny money. It's next year.
Yes. It's going to happen again.
Because next year, it's not 30,000 anymore. It's 1/3.
Wait a minute.
No, it is. It is 1/3.
So 1/3 of the lump sum?
No, 1/3, not of the lump sum, of the contributions in the year.
Is more.
Which would be more for some people. So you see now for you, who might be earning, like 100 grand a month or whatever the case might be with 15%. So you're looking at like what, 15,000, whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
So that'll be what, 150,000 plus another 30. That's 180,000.
Yeah.
1/3 of that. You see, it'll make you think.
Or,
Yeah.
I don't need it, but it'd be nice to have it.
But ka December all the time, re ya ko Polokwane.
Wow.
Re ya ko Mashu
I
to visit
wasn't
the
aware
family.
of that small detail. I
No,
thought
no,
it'll
no,
be
no, no.
kept
No.
at 30
No.
every time.
That was the seeding.
Oh,
That was the seeding.
yeah,
It was a seeding from, because actually what they did was they said, listen, people have been contributing for a long time, right? So you're coming into some form of state.
Yeah.
So now we are doing this new system. So then we initialize the savings pot.
Yeah. Let's
with,
start it.
with some money. And it was 10%, maximum 10% or 30,000.
30,000, yeah.
Exactly. So not everybody got to 30,000, by the way.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
If you had not saved enough. So it wouldn't be 30,000. But just look at how frantic people were.
I want us to start. We've already started. Some of this I'm going to use. Kike Maxwell, Mojapelo.
Maxwell Mojapelo.
What role do you do for PPS?
So I look after business development for, I would say, investment solutions. Okay. So now investment solutions, Iriferi.
Yeah.
Effectively, we've got a multi-manager. Yeah. Okay. Like the simplest way to put it. Okay, everybody understands equities. So if I say MTN,
yes.
Vodacom, listed on the stock exchange.
It's shares.
It's shares.
People understand
everybody
it's
gets
shares.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but you find, Ori, then there'll be, Maxwell Mojapelo, who thinks there's something wrong with the market. The market is greedy. The market is this or overly fearful. So I think, Ori, there's some form of alpha. There's some form of return that I can generate over and above the market.
Got you.
Okay, so that's an asset manager. Now you've got a lot of them. Maybe I won't disclose the names, but
you go everywhere, you find them.
But there are those managers.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go into one of them because you liked their billboard at the airport.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
As you're walking,
yes.
Big billboards.
The one with the A&G and all those.
And all of those.
90-something.
And 90-something and this and this.
All of that.
And they sponsor tennis.
Of course.
Like they put themselves where you want, where you are aspiring to.
They have a zebra.
They've got a zebra.
Okay.
That's the one.
You
see. But the thing is, from a multi-manager point of view, they are idiosyncratic. Like there's certain things that they think they are right with, and there's certain things that they are not so right with. There's times then that they'll be right.
Of course.
Or no, this market is going to do this, and they'll get it right.
Yeah.
There'll be times when, hey, things are tough. Okay.
And tough could be for everyone as well.
Tough could be for everybody.
Yeah.
But then not everybody is going to be tough. You see, somebody might be winning during that time.
Of course.
You see.
Yeah.
So maybe the one with the letter A might be winning. The one with the letter C might be struggling.
Got you.
Or whatever. So multi-management is about combining some of them. Because we know, there's a time when interest rates will come down. Trump takes office. He's more expansionary. He wants to spend more. He wants to do this and whatever. So this is a time for this type of manager. You see, so we combine them and we try to adapt. So that's multi-management.
It's almost like a soccer coach and they play different players at different 100%. Games. Or Chief,
yeah,
this is not your game.
No, this is not yours. Or like you might have defenders, you might have centre halves, what have you, and forwards and so on and so forth. And they are not all the same. They've got different skills and what have you.
Yeah.
And depending on what team am I playing against? Yeah. So, what market am I going into? Then I can change. Then I can change the pitch. I can say, okay, I'm going for a 4-5-1.
Yes.
Or I'm going for a 4-4-2.
There you go.
Or I'm going for this.
Yeah. Everyone that plays Sundowns goes for 8-1-1. Anyway, it's a debate for another time. I'm a Sundowns fan, you can tell.
Hey, you know what? Every time we bring sports, we're going to go into some other places where it is sore. It is still very tender.
Of course, I know.
Yeah,
hey, I know all about it.
It's tough, but we'll get it right. It's not like...
there's a Naturena fan. That's keys out here. That's keys.
We'll get it right. And, as with time, sometimes you have to give people a bit of leeway, a bit of, let them settle.
10-year leeway. And how long have you been interested in this field of work, in finance and investments and all of that?
Long time. I've always been in asset management.
Yes.
I'm fairly young. I'm an old soul, but I'm fairly young. I started off in 2010.
Okay.
Right. Having studied from 2007. Remained in the Cape. Went and worked at the the
The
AG
A.
business.
Oh, the AG.
Yeah, the
Yes.
AG business, which was fantastic.
Mm.
It's good to have it on your CV, to be
Of course.
honest. You know,
Yeah. It's like those in marketing, they say Unilever is good to have it on your CV.
it's good to have it on your CV.
Yeah.
And I had that on the CV, and then I went to the big blue machine,
The L or the M.
the S.
The S. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you.
The big blue machine.
Because I think the L is also blue, depending.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yes.
It's a shade of blue.
Yeah. Even
it's a-
M is in Santon isn't it a shade of blue as well?
It is a shade
there
of blue.
You go.
With,
I know my
yeah.
my insurance business.
Funny enough, that the person who's running that business in Santon,
Yeah.
she was the head of distribution at the time when I was an analyst.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's a very small. It's not spoken about a lot.
But it's a small community.
It's a small community of people. It's like very, very small.
Interesting.
It's amazing how small it is.
Are there a lot of what academic background did you go into?
Yeah, it all depends on. So, I'll say this. What makes a good analyst, right? You need to be clever, so you need to love books.
Yeah.
And whatever you read needs to stick in your head. So it doesn't really matter. Like I wouldn't say, go for finance. I did finance, but I did finance with pure maths.
Okay.
You see, and in my team we had a medical doctor.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We had actuaries. So that was when I was going into the product development space.
Yeah.
And it's about problem solving. Like usually you're deciding, do I go investment banking, management consulting, asset management? All of them, they require you to just be somewhat astute, good with numbers, good with communication, and so on and so forth. And just genuinely be interested in things, like just naturally curious.
Ratadilo.
Or ratadilo. But it's not even or ratadilo fella, like or ratadilo to the point where you want to open it up.
Yes.
Like
I got you.
Like what makes
you want to understand?
You want to understand it, like deeper and deeper and deeper. So I wouldn't say, there's any particular
skill set. Particularly if you said there was a medical doctor.
No, there was.
Yeah.
We like back in those days, we had to work closely with a legal team. Because sometimes, the things that we're doing is really looking at legislation and saying, does innovation lead in regulation, or does a regulator lead innovation?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the other way, sometimes it's the other way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my time as during that time. Then I left 2014. I went to Sanlam Investments. I started working with the current CEO of the PPS investment business.
Okay.
He was still the head of.
Is it House?
No. So Sean Reiters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks after the business now.
Yeah.
So I started working with him. And the reason why I left the AG business to go to the insurance to the Sanlam business was to lend distribution. Okay.
Mass market as well.
Mass market.
Yeah.
And when I got there, it was understanding the retail distribution landscape. Like how does a product actually end up
with the end user?
With the end user, And it was, I didn't want to go into the institutional space, to be honest. So, you've got the retail market, and then you've got the institutional market. To be honest, the institutional market, when you look at it, it's Brad David. Why? Because Brad David can speak to boards of trustees.
True.
Because boards of trustees, they're comrades. They want to see transformation and whatever. So it's not challenging. The retail market, it's Umpit.
Yes.
You see.
It's the lady in the taxi.
100%.
Got you.
See. Yeah. But on the retail side, it is more to go for an advisor. And that advisor looks after 400 people, looks after 500 people. And he might have his own, like minimums. I want you to have at least R1 million to invest.
Yes. So he doesn't waste time with everyone.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, it's that cost of acquisition versus the long-term value of the person. Because we take 5 cents on like nothing. See, you shouldn't feel my cost.
No.
You shouldn't.
I shouldn't even care.
No, you shouldn't even care because I'm giving you the returns and what have you. So we need lots and lots of assets for you not to feel that we exist and then we actually help you grow. So can you see that it's very difficult to do that with a small amount?
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
That's why you need either you get many people or you get
Yes.
few people with lots of money.
There we go. So on the many people, that was a well-transformed space and what have you. And I thought to myself, you know, if you want to challenge yourself, go for the road less taken.
Yeah, the fewer guys.
The fewer guys.
Yeah.
So and that's where I ended up at. That was Sanlam Investments. And I learned a lot. I mean, if you were to listen to the group CEOs when they speak and they talk and what have you, what holds up that share price? The distribution network.
Really?
Yeah.
Right at the bottom.
Yeah, but because come rain or shine, right? Somebody's going to be selling that product.
True.
You see, so yes, sometimes it has like negative connotations and what have you, but it holds up the share price. So you have to learn like how do you actually do that? How do you from one side it's like a perspective or a perception of like you're pushing product. On the other side is like, but we're doing what's good. Because as you said, Brother David, like, people don't want to save. They don't want to do. So nobody wakes up and says, you know what, today
I'm going to have a police with Sanlam.
Nobody does.
Someone this morning woke up and said, I'm going to have a PPS police.
No.
Somebody has to call you.
Somebody has to call you and give you an inconvenient truth.
And I tell you, should you die?
Should you die? What about your family? Should something happen to you? And David all of a sudden cannot get up.
Yes.
But you're still alive.
Things happen.
And things happen. Critical illness. Can we sort that risk out? Can we do this? Can we put some money away? Because one day, Max, nobody wants to hear you anymore. What then? So you need to have like something that you've put aside that can then generate the income.
What is it about us that, whether it's us South Africans or humans generally, that we struggle with that one day I'll need this state of mind? Because it feels like we cannot see it. I can understand when a young person can't see their old age.
Yeah.
I can give them some leeway.
No, true.
Because we don't think like that.
Yeah.
Young people think they'll never be old. That much I know for a fact. I was once a young person.
Yeah.
But it's when you're old and you give them advice, you hear them say, "Nah, I don't need that."
Yeah, I don't need it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's a general thing also about us as people that we are incapable of seeing the end.
Yeah.
And the end in some form, whether you're in an accident and that's the end, or the end when you're sick, you can't and living anymore, or the end we are unable to
visualize it,
to visualize 20 years from now.
I think one, it might just be that it's not a bad thing. It might be a good thing. We're just optimistic as a nation.
I guess.
There's potholes on the road. Yeah. But it's still okay.
There's no water.
Yeah, there's no water. It's still okay. Like I love it. Yeah, it's
load shedding. We make fun of it.
Do you know what I mean? Like so I do think as a nation we are extremely optimistic bunch.
Hey,
that's it is innately in us. We are very optimistic. So and again, look at our history, man.
Yeah, it's worse than
like you had to be. Like, you know what, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Somebody had to be reinforcing the message. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
Look, my mom's favorite phrase was "Gotloloka." So, yeah. Hey. Well, whether it's favorite or not, I've had her say it many, many times. Exactly.
You see? Yeah. Like, and those sayings, they exist. And they're very much an optimistic outlook on the world.
Yeah.
So we're not pessimistic as a nation. So it then becomes very difficult to then say to you, listen, you need to picture an end that is not so positive.
Hey.
Because that's what I'm selling.
Picture your old age or picture your death.
100%. But there's
or
ways.
Picture an accident.
Or picture an accident. And those things, as much as it's hard to picture them, they can happen.
Well, to tell you the truth, they do happen.
They do happen.
Almost all of them.
They do happen.
Maybe you can get away with it when it comes to an accident. Maybe. One in a million.
But they do happen.
Yeah.
But not me, eh? Not Brother. You see, that's the thing. And even somebody who's watching now will probably say this, but not me.
It happens to others.
No, it happens to others, not me. You see, and that's something that is in our nation. You can't take it away.
Wow, man, I think it's a disability. No, I think so. Because it's good to be optimistic, But you can't be delusional while you're optimistic.
True.
You can't be living in the clouds.
And I think that delusion is then reflected in how you behave in the short term.
Yeah. How do we behave in the short term?
In the short term, I think there's something that says, listen, I'll always be in this state. I'll always be able to earn. I'll always be able to cover myself. I'll always be able to make a plan. That's the state. Because if it wasn't, then you'd always put measures in place
to safeguard that.
To safeguard.
Yeah.
You see, you'd make sure that I've got an income protection policy. First and foremost. Why? Because I'm an asset. You see, the asset that's sitting in front of me, the asset that's sitting in front of you.
I'm a machine.
Like you've built it up. There's skill. There's networks. There's knowledge.
Yeah.
And all of those things then culminate into I can monetize it.
I know how to extract
100%
value from it.
Yeah. From the ecosystem that I am within, I can extract value from this asset, which is me, which is Brad David. I can extract that, and on a monthly basis, I can enforce that the ecosystem at least releases some form of cash flow.
Yeah.
That's your salary, that's your this, that's your that, your negotiations and this and this. But you see now, then the asset is here. See, this asset is not diversified.
No.
Yeah.
It's one.
Yeah. And
if it's a hotel room, it's only one.
It's only one. And the problem is something can happen to the asset. So that's what we keep on saying. Something can happen to this asset. That's so valuable to you. That's your means of doing this, of living the lifestyle that you want to live. Something can happen to that asset. So that's where you start. You need to start looking at it that I'm an asset within an ecosystem that has a certain value. Okay, that value, I can extract it either on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, on a this, on a that, on a that. But I need to somehow, somewhere, start putting some measures into place. And also not being that delusional that we're talking about, that one day, this ecosystem there, it's always morphing, it's always moving. It will move. And my valuation
will change.
It will change. My share price comes down.
Might be high or low.
It might be high, which, you see, we don't worry. Like, I would say, like, personal finance, financial management, asset management. We know, like, when things go up,
everybody celebrates.
It's when it goes down.
And it's a crisis.
Yeah, that's a problem. A good leader that I used to look up to, he used to say, we manage money for orphans and widows. So that's how you think about it.
You don't manage it for those that are alive. You manage it for those that are left behind. But think of the situation of an orphan and a widow. Do you have that picture? 100%.
Okay. So before you give that 100 rands to that asset manager, before you give that 100 rands to that person, you're managing money for an orphan and a widow. So you don't just give it up. You don't just give it for free. You do your research. You have a look at it. And you look some more. And you look some more. And you look some more. And you say, no, I'm comfortable. I'll give it to you.
Do we have... Because that inability to see the future and worry about the future, that inability to see yourself as an asset, that inability to say one day this asset will switch off.
Yeah.
And what happens to those that remain, that inability to say this asset will switch off but still be here.
Yes.
And you need to live.
Yeah.
You need to cover your costs. That inability, how deeply rooted is it in our culture?
Yeah, I think there's also that thing, the structure in which we were building the communities out, saying, Motuka about and what have you. There's somebody who might come in and take it. So then that mentoring, there's a time when the asset, me, my value is high enough and then can generate that income. But at some point, but then I've invested in my kids. You see, then when I let that continuum from bar 9, whatever. So I think maybe that is one way. And I'd say that it's probably why you see people buying so many funeral policies. I never understand why people have like 10, 5. and it was, like that communal thinking. And we would get together, we are covering ourselves, we're creating that pool and we're safeguarding and whatever. Yeah. And nobody has ever gone to a place of oneness, like just me.
How do I do this?
Like I need to do it on my own.
Yeah.
You see, but slowly but surely we're being exposed to it. And I think as we start being exposed to it, of which I don't think it's something that we want to be in that space all the time, because we are people who want to be with other people. We don't want, you'll find in other cultures where somebody can choose not to talk to their parents or to their brothers and sisters.
I've seen that.
Yeah, they are more closer with their friends than they are with their family. Like for us, regardless of how bad it is, you cling on and whatever.
There's still that.
There's still that thing that
They
calls
will
you.
still call you, and
100%.
even when they don't like you,
Even they'll still call
or you don't like them.
100%.
Yes.
So and so is not there anymore. You need to come. And so I think, Ori, when we get to that place where we are very much comfortable to set up our own tribes by ourselves in a foreign place. See, the South Africans, we never relocate.
No way.
But once we start being like by ourselves, I think that's when these types of things will become very, very real, very quickly, where you'll then start saying, listen, I'm a pool of one, and I need to safeguard this ability to continue the lifestyle that we're living.
In your presentation that you did recently at what's this? The retirement
PPS.
summit.
Yeah.
Yes, PPS retirement summit.
Yeah.
You speak of a crisis that needs to be addressed. South Africans are known to be poor savers. And there's highlights of all sorts. How do we compare? Do you know?
What, to the world?
To the world? How do we compare to Dagi, to others? What type of numbers do you have, give or take, or just an observation?
Yeah, I'd say okay, so maybe
maybe compared to our past as well.
Yeah, so I mean, we can have a look at but it's a bit old, that research, but I'll just touch on it still. Again, like if you were to look at it from a race point of view, we don't come out very well. We don't come out very well. And like a good question would be, do you have an emergency fund? Most people don't. What is an emergency fund?
Yeah, what size should an emergency fund be?
What should it be? So for those that want to know, it's 6 months. 6 months of your income.
Sure.
That's an emergency fund. Okay, something happened, and then you've got something on the side. So I think there was a survey that was done, and we didn't score that well from that point of view. Okay, I think I had mentioned earlier on where we are net consumers, not net savers. It's there. Household savings in South Africa over time have been negative.
Sure. Not even
negative.
Not even 1%.
No. We have gone up in the positives, single digits, but we are net spenders. We are spenders. We are not savers. Japan are net savers. Extremely. They save like nobody's business. They had a problem with deflation.
Yes. When prices were going down.
Yeah, prices were going down because like shopkeepers had to entice them to spend the money. They didn't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
You see?
So a person who sells a bottle of water will say, okay, it's no longer R1.
Yeah, I take it down.
It's 75 cents now.
It's 75 cents.
Come by.
Yeah, get deflation. So deflation, like your prices, they go down. We've never experienced that in South Africa.
No, never.
It slows, like the way it goes up slows down.
Yes.
Right?
But it's continuously going up.
But it's continuously going up.
Yeah.
Borotho yesterday was 14 rands, 15 rands. You never went to the shop and then all of a sudden you're like, hey man, Borotho yesterday was 10. Today you can find
Unless it is special.
Unless if it is special. And when it's a special question mark, like, should I dodge it or not?
Is it yesterday's bread?
Exactly. But Bona, structurally, they had that problem.
Yeah.
So they used to have that problem. So only the nations tailoring, Bona, they are net savers. They've got healthy savings and what have you. Some nations, we spend and we just don't save. South Africans, we don't save. Like it's not, we just don't save.
You say we've improved over time?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Is it even worth acknowledging that improvement as a step in the right direction?
I think so. Like even if you're to look at the types of conversations that you're seeing sometimes, with some of these new businesses that are being launched and what have you, people can buy shares, people can do this. Those are good conversations. People on the YouTube channels and what those are good conversations. It shows your people have that like that need, that want to say, "Oh, I want to put some money away."
Or at least the question is there in your
At
head.
least, like there's that curiosity, like, what is this about?
One can argue and say, what you save what? Because you have nothing. That's also...
Yeah, you see, that's a different problem on its own. That speaks to budgeting.
It can also speak to poverty.
It can also speak to poverty. But again, like, so, I mean, yeah, but poverty, and I might be, crucified for this one, okay? Depending on how much you make, it's not like people don't know how much they're worth or what have you. And, like, you accept where you are in life, okay? Or you can be a high earner and still be poor from a disposable income point of view.
Yeah. Ask debt reviewers. They'll tell you all about it.
They'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
And they've even bucketed people as well, segmented and what have you. Like it's not about how much you earn, it's about what you actually do. So you can find, like, the lifestyle that you lead does not correlate with where you should be. I'll give you a simple example. Right now, on your car, okay, on average, okay, so like this is like research here, research there, we'll say about 15% in total.
What money you should be spending towards
transport.
Okay.
Let me not say a car.
Yes.
Transport.
Okay. 15% of your earning.
15% of your net earnings.
Net earning, yes.
Yeah. So that's your car repayments, that's your maintenance, your insurance.
Yes.
That's your petrol.
That's even tracker. Throw it in there because it's all part of it. Yeah, car wash, it's all part of it.
It's all part of the transportation bucket. Now you tell me whether you're overspending or not. I'm telling you, you're overspending.
I'm terribly overspending.
You see,
I'm a bad example.
You see, I'm not, and I'm overspending. You see,
I have one small advantage, however.
Yeah,
I travel very short to work.
Yeah.
That's my one advantage. So already part of my costs on these
goes down.
Is terribly low.
Yeah.
I
fuel cost.
My fuel cost is almost zero.
Yes. But that car payment,
that
insurance.
There we go.
You see, because now the minute you start you start looking at it like that. Okay, so what are the buckets? What should it be? Like 35% for housing, 15% for this, 30% for essentials, groceries, this, going out, and then you need to have 10% for debt servicing. There's good credit and there's bad credit.
Of course.
Right?
Most of us know good and bad credit.
100%.
Yeah.
As long as it was used to buy an asset that either appreciates, i.e., like it goes up in value, then you're good.
Or it has a return.
Or it helps you
Yes.
to generate an income.
That's it.
Return comes in one or two ways. Income, price goes up.
No other. No sangom.
No. Those are the only ones.
No person who will say, I can turn it into...
No.
There's a voice in the wall that will talk to this man.
No.
Okay.
Either it generates income on its own or it helps you to generate income. So you can say, no, my car is an asset and what.
On weekends, it's Uber.
Yeah, on weekends, it is an Uber. That is good. That is good thinking. But if now it's a Uber Black, but it's not an Uber Black on Saturdays and Sundays. No, then it's not an Uber Black. That's just a very expensive piece of toy.
Yeah. And we are an over-indebted nation.
No, we are. That one, again, net spenders, not savers. How are you spending more than, like, to the point where you're going to the negatives? It's because you're supplementing it with something.
And debt becomes that solution.
That debt becomes that. And remember, from a budgeting point of view, 10% should be for servicing debt. 10%.
Good debt.
Good debt. Listen, you can say, I must have some form of lifestyle, which is good. As long as it's not more than 10%.
Let's while we're here, because someone will say, what is good and bad debt? Let's give one or two examples.
No. So I would say now, Gereka, let's stick to the car. I buy a car because a car can be good debt and it could be bad debt. I buy a car. It's an oldish car, right? It takes me from A to B. It's comfortable enough, whatever the case might be. See, it's still within the budget. It's good debt. Okay. On the other side,
what makes it good debt? Is it because it's within your budget?
It's within the budget.
Okay.
it's doing what it's supposed to be doing
Got you. You're extracting true value from it.
from it.
Yes.
Okay.
You're
But
sweating your asset.
I'm sweating each and every 100 rands works.
Got you.
It has to work. As much as I work to get this 100, it must work as well. I sweat that 100 rands.
Yeah.
On the other side, it's a Audi A6. Nice cars. Listen, it makes me feel, then you can
It completes you.
append whatever you append. I always say that question mark, if you were in that movie, is it I Am Legend?
Yeah.
Would it matter?
Where you're alone. It will still make me feel good. All on my own. It's not about
6 months into that movie, right? Would it still matter?
Yeah, well, in the movie, I'll get any car I want because I'm left alone.
No, it's
but
true.
I hear you.
But at some point you'll be like, a car is a car. You know what I mean? So it's those types of things. So if I'm overstretching and I'm overcompensating and I'm literally convincing myself now, that's not good. That's bad credit. You take a credit card to buy food.
Ish. But that's a reflection of I don't have the money. Or I know how to use my credit card so well that I reap the rewards of the credit card.
Yeah, I know.
I use it up and then pay it up. Or I don't use it up, but I use it and pay it up every time.
No, but then you see now you're not moving forwards.
However, you get if some credit card products, you get rewards from using the credit card.
No, but that's the new new world of. I mean, you get it everywhere. Where just on that point, you get it everywhere in the convenience model, not the access model. There's two models: access model, convenience model.
Yeah.
Convenience model, I pay you to use my things.
Yes. I want you to use it more.
Then I give you
I
this.
reward you.
I reward you. I do this. It's a system. Convenience. You see, access. I won't do that. You really want it. Hair on fire type of stuff. Access. I'm not gonna pay you to.
You need it. Yeah.
You see, so convenience world, which is the world that we're in, Uber, like that type of world. That is a convenience world. A lot of rewards are in there and whatnot. And people are paying people to use their things, use more of my things. I've got vertical integration strategies, what have you. I make my money somewhere. I know I do.
Yeah.
So yes, you can argue from the credit card point of view.
But still, the concept
is,
of using credit.
Yeah, it's not for that.
Yeah.
Because then I'll say, why are you going to that shop? Yes, it's high quality. I know. It's good. It's fantastic. I also want to buy a fruit that was already cut because I don't want to cut it now for the convenience, Max.
Max, I want to eat seedless grapes.
Yeah, like, who wants to be spitting out grape? Who does
in
it?
2024?
In 2024, come on. I don't want to be doing that.
No.
Exactly.
How they made it is none of my business.
You see, problem.
Yeah.
You can always take it down. So it's about lifestyle versus that income. So the minute you are going beyond thresholds, the minute you have to supplement with credit, what have you, for that lifestyle, you see where the problem is. Lifestyle.
Are we caught up in your observation of us without people judging you too harsh as this holier than thou character?
Because I'm one of you, by the way. Like,
you are. You like you're pointing your finger at yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I'm definitely a culprit in this space as well.
Yes.
I don't know.
Are we the lifestyle thing?
Yeah,
I don't remember it being a huge factor when I was a kid.
True.
We left it to certain people.
Yeah,
and we were fine to just watch them.
Yeah,
live the life.
His boy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were happy to see that kid who the only one that has a BMX bicycle 100%. And they're good. We don't have it. Life carries on.
Or Sega.
Forget it. Those things we could only dream of.
Yeah.
And we were fine to do that.
Yeah.
But over time, I think we all got caught up. And I will also to a large extent the growth in middle class and all of that, and keeping up with the Sitoles next door can be a challenge as well.
Yeah.
What have you observed about us as South Africans in relation to our lifestyle crisis that we seem to want to live up to?
No, but you see now, somebody spoke of commutation, moving up. I don't know if you remember the living standard measures.
Yes, LSMs.
The LSMs. Yes. Unali fridge at home, and you've got 2 TVs.
True.
I mean, those are 2 different LSMs. You've got 1 TV, 2 TVs, 4 TVs, different.
Absolutely.
So, and I think, Ori, because again, I think ke borona. It's how we are as people as well. You know, the people down the road sometimes, yes, it's fine for us to watch them, but sometimes we want to show them that we are also doing okay. And then you find that competitiveness coming through. So I can't offer more depth to the notion rather than to say, listen, lenaki fihlila, lena I'm here. You know, there used to be like a car, you know, naming span.
Yeah.
You see,
Which
like,
one is that? I must have missed that.
The VW Polo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I missed that.
Like, you know, naming span. Like, I can also afford a car now. Like, so those things, they do happen. And it is a way and a means in our society to showcase that, you know what, we are improving. I am improving. And it's not a bad thing. It's not something to frown upon.
No.
I think it is good. I think the only problem is when you start lending to maintain lifestyles. That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But then as a community, as a people,
progression is not a bad
progression
thing.
is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. We have to progress. But
don't progress on debt.
Listen, there are other countries that are worse than us.
Which
way
one?
worse.
Can we at least celebrate our
the,
position in the...
No, the US is highly indebted as a nation. They're highly indebted, even as people. You look at the crisis that happened in 2007, 2008.
Yeah, the property crisis.
The property crisis. Yeah. It was because people could not afford the homes. They could not afford the bonds. You know, like as much as we are reckless. You see, till now we get money to spend it and to do this. At least, you know, it's short term and whatnot. But why they go long term and they do this? So it's not to say, you know what, let's be hard on our people. Yes, we've got a problem where we are not saving enough and we are using credit quite a bit. But in moderation, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. In moderation.
Hey, moderation is relative.
Yeah, in moderation. Mara, I mean, the crisis. I mean, in South Africa, if I think back to the mid-2010s African Bank, you remember that one?
I remember that.
Yeah.
That's when it closed down.
It was going to be liquidated. Yes. Somebody came in.
Oh, yeah, that tiny little moment.
That time. It was a whole problem in the industry. Like, till now we remember it very, very well. It was the first time the money markets repriced.
What?
Because they had debt that was issued from them as an entity where we had investments there. You know, but in South Africa we contain some of these things. You know, these things are sometimes contained. You know, you don't see it. You know, because we are very responsible type of people.
Are we?
No, I think so. I mean, we've got a very stable financial system. Not best in the world, but amongst the best in the world.
Some have said it's best in Africa, no doubt.
No, 100%. Yeah. Like it's we are well regulated, and the things that we've done, even corporate governance, like a lot of the things that you know the regulator does. I mean, I take my hat off to them. Those guys, they really do, you know, put effort into thinking about what they implement and what have you, and making sure that what they have implemented is actually, you know, we follow it through the industry. You know, there's watchdogs and what have you. So there isn't like a lot of things where things go very wrong. All of a sudden, people's retirement savings
we're not there
gone.
yet.
No, we're not those. And I'm not sure if we will get
there. Zimbabwe got there.
Hey, listen,
there's a moment. That's the thing.
There is
it's
a
called
moment.
Black Friday. There's an actual moment when it got there in Zimbabwe.
No, but
there's a date.
No, but even that one, Yako Zimbabwe. I mean, like for those who do know that country and where, you know, they were going as a country, they had like the most highly educated.
Yeah.
Even females.
Still has.
Still, even to this day, they invested very well from a nation, from a fiscal point of view as a government. They made one or two wrong policies here, and that were detrimental. Hyperinflation, then so hyperinflation. That's when it's not. The bread is not 1 rand, then, you know, like 1 rand 20 tomorrow.
Yeah.
It goes from 1 rand to 5 rands. You can't keep up.
No.
You can't keep up. So that was their biggest problem, one of their biggest problems. And, you know, when the world shuns you out, you can't run away. You can't run anywhere.
You spoke about, in your presentation, something called a 75% replacement ratio.
Yes.
to maintain a lifestyle.
Mm.
What is that?
Yeah. So it is it's a I would say it's an industry accepted number.
Okay.
And it speaks to the fact that, there's an assumption. One, when you go into retirement, you're taxed less. Like there'll
Yeah.
be like those certain
Mm.
like the primary rebate, the secondary rebate
True.
at a certain
Different
age.
age.
Yeah,
65 is different to
100%.
it's lower.
Yeah.
75, it gets even lower.
100%.
All of that.
And then the other one would be, you don't have all of those. Remember, we were talking about like the splits and whatever. 35% should be in your housing. Most of it is your bond and whatever. By the time you go into retirement, you should have paid that off.
True.
Right? Shouldn't be going to retirement with
a
a bond. You can't do it.
Keep working.
Yeah, you're gonna have to keep working.
Yeah.
So when you get to that point where you're getting into retirement, there's a lot of liabilities or and when we say liabilities, like they are linked to the assets. Those
Okay.
are credit that you took from the bank to buy like a proper like asset. And those are your long-term liabilities. So your bond payment should be done by then.
And we assume the car is paid up long ago.
The car should be paid up.
Yeah.
The bond should be paid up. So if you were to look at your total money coming in, it doesn't have a lot of commitments. So you can stomach a bit of a drop
in income
at the top level. Remember, all we're trying to do is to make sure that when you don't run out of money. Because that's the thing.
Is it a case of, but explain the 75%. Is it the ratio that says you should have at least 75% of your income? Explain it in simple terms.
In simple terms.
Yeah.
So, okay. We're going to go back. Okay? This is asset, Brother David. Right?
I'm the asset.
You're the asset.
Yeah.
The asset generates income, generates a salary, this. Okay? And then we continue. Then we get to that retirement time.
Where it stops generating income.
Where that, it might not stop immediately, but then it starts going down. During that time, you met up with Max. Max said to you, you need to contribute to your retirement saving product.
Got you.
You started building another asset on the other side. So now you've got two assets. The one is coming down. The other one is big.
True.
It's nourished.
Yes.
You see? So now...
While this one is going down, this one is going up.
That one was going up.
Yeah.
So now you're saying, I don't want to... I want to take like little bits of it.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do. So now we say, your target should be at that point of retirement, when I say, no longer working, that income that I jump into should be at least 75% of the one that I left behind.
Got you.
So it's the handover. So we're saying, don't try to match 100%.
You can't. Well, some can.
Some can.
Yes.
There are some people who are aggressive savers.
Yes.
I don't know what they do, but
what they eat.
Like they are aggressive savers.
Yeah.
But we say a good number to maintain the same lifestyle. So now we're thinking about all those other things. You want to travel, you want to do this. 75% of that ending salary.
It's how often do we hit that mark?
Not a lot of people. No, not a lot of people. So and you'll see it like if you were to look at a scheme or if you were to look at a company, right? And you'll find, sometimes we'll put like bands in place. For now, how many people are actually at that 75? How many people are at 50%?
So you can see that.
Yeah. Because you project it. You say, okay, so this is the salary today is 10,000. You've got another, 20 years, whatever the case might be.
So you can see.
Then you say, if it goes up by inflation, right? You get your 6% or 5.5%, right? Then your ending salary will be X. Okay. Now we have a look at your asset. The other asset,
retirement fund.
Yeah. And then we assume it just goes as a particular rate. And then you say, okay, so that means your replacement ratio at the time will be 50%.
Where do we play? Since the targeted number is 75.
Yeah.
Where are we, most of us?
Well, if you, on that presentation, we'll say less than 10% will get to the 75%.
less than 10% of us
Yes.
will retire comfortably. That's the phrase that's
Comfortably,
used.
100%. We'll get to that 75%.
Less than 10%.
That means we're going to have to make an adjustment.
Is there a number for those that will retire with nothing?
There is, and I mean,
There has to be.
even the regulator makes provision for it. So they will even say, "Oh, you can just take your money." Like at about like 200 and I think it's like almost like $250,000 somewhere there.
You
200.
can take all of it.
You can just take all of it. You don't have to annuitize. You don't have to do that. Like it's just we can't do much with that.
And you're saying, why don't they force people to annuitize it? Because then you have nothing because you're going to blow it.
No, but Marakiri, so just on annuitizing. So now we've got that asset. Then we go into another product. That product gives you some income.
Yes.
There's two types of products. One, that those insurers, the ones that were selling you policies.
Yes.
They do a mighty fine job to make sure they can take certain risks. They can take certain problems that you might encounter during that time. And that's where they can say, oh, okay, you give us 1 million rands, okay, and we'll give you 9,000 rands per month for life.
Yes.
Until you go back to the Lord, we'll make sure that we'll give you that money.
That's annuity.
That's annuity.
Yeah.
That's the guaranteed one. Okay. And by the way, that 9,000 is an actual quote.
Okay.
Yeah. So it ranges between 8,000 to 9,000. So for those people that want to know, have I saved enough? If you've got 1 million rands, I can tell you what your future is. If you were to retire today, you'll get 9,000 rands a month. You tell me if it's enough.
No.
Exactly.
It may be enough today and tomorrow, but it won't be in a few months. It won't be in a few years.
No. But it's a painful truth.
Oh.
It's a painful truth. And most people, they don't know this. They don't know this. And it's only during that time when we start having conversations. And I always say to them, I might be young, but I'll tell you because I've seen it. And you'll see, like it becomes a very difficult conversation.
Sure.
And then the other one, obviously, you can go directly into the market. There's certain risks, which we'll discuss later on.
Of course.
Taylor, you'll have to take as a person. But, you can increase that income from 9,000 to 12,000. But again, you're not taking a little bit anymore. Now you're taking a lot. The problem is that asset can go down as well.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Because remember that asset, previously the asset, everybody knows Brad David. Brad David can go to another job. We'll follow him. He's got a following. He's got value in the system. He's got value in the ecosystem. Right. And you can continue generating that income. That other one is in the market. I don't know what's going to happen in the market tomorrow.
No.
My portfolio managers don't know what's going to happen in the market tomorrow.
They pretend they do, though.
Well, it's not that they pretend. It's that we've done work to know all the known risks.
Okay. Got you. Yes.
There's risks that we don't know. There's things that we just don't know.
There's COVID. There's
COVID.
Donald Trump. There's, you name it. Anything is possible.
There's Putin who wakes up.
And
invades a country. Who knows when Putin's going to wake up and say, you know what, today I just feel like, I'm just going to go to Ukraine and I'm going to drop a couple of bombs there.
Yeah. That's an unknown.
It's an unknown.
Yeah.
You can't model it. You can't price it. You can't. You see, if you can price something, then I know. You remember again that 100 rands, then I know if I'm giving you this 100 rands, I want 150 back. If I can price it, if I can't price it, so now I've given the Russians 100 rands. I'm expecting 100.
Oh, you gave the Ukrainians.
Ukrainians,
yes.
Even I guess even their markets went down somewhat because during that time, you couldn't actually sell some of the assets. Like you couldn't sell the things, so you had to side pocket them. You had to put them on the side because there was no. So the pen was 1 rand. Tomorrow, nobody knows how much the pen is,
and nobody wants to buy it.
Nobody wants to buy it. It happened, but it happened even in soccer. Who was the owner of Chelsea?
Yes. There you go. Abramovich.
There we go.
Yes. Oh no! And you when you slept, life was normal.
You slept the day before. It was normal. The day before, it was normal. You wake up,
Sure.
No, you've
I-
got a minister of the weekend.
Where?
Like in
Mr. Van
December.
Roy.
Yeah. Wiped out billions.
Incredible.
But again, so that is why we say, okay, if you're a doctor and when you read, one, you love to read.
Mm.
Two, when you read something sticks in your head, then you can trust those people because they'll be finicky about everything.
Because that's what they do.
That's what they will do. They'll be finicky. Yes, there's certain risks but we can price it. Then we can do this. Then we know. Or when we give this type of money, this is how much we're expecting. Or this is how much we should be pricing. This is, we won't accept anything less than this when we give you this money.
Yeah.
You see, but sometimes we just don't know. So if you go into that other product, that's where the problem is. We don't know.
What is defined benefit?
Yes.
And is there anything that you can measure it against?
Okay. So the pension funds or the structuring of benefits for somebody who worked for a company, it was either defined benefit and then later on defined contribution. Under defined benefit, there is a formula. That formula will say, well, Brad David worked for us for so long. Okay. The type of how do I say, like death that we experience from our pool of people that worked for us is so much. Okay.
So much you're saying these are numbers.
These are numbers.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a actuarial factor or whatever the case might be. Okay. And then we say, well, we take your last salary. Remember that?
Yeah, remember.
We take your last salary and potentially we take it down to like 75% or whatever the case might be. And then we say we will pay you so much money. So that means, yes, we do take some money from you on a monthly basis. But if you stay with us in the company, when you retire, we will continue paying you a pension.
Got you.
That's defined benefit.
That's old school.
That's old school.
Yeah.
That's where we come from. Those were good times. People never change jobs.
Are they still products like that?
They're still there.
And but are they probably being wind down?
Wind down, yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember, in a defined benefit world, remember the unknown unknowns? During that time when the unknown unknowns happen, the value of the pension, like the savings, go down.
Yes.
When they go down, then me as a company owner, I need to put in a little bit more.
To keep this thing.
To keep it where I said, I will give you a pension of X.
Got you.
Because it's a defined benefit.
So let's look at it for a second from the perspective of the company owner.
Yeah.
He's taking money from the employees.
As part of your REM structure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He's saying every year, every month,
yes,
I take 100 rands.
Yes.
Each 100 rands from 100 people. I'm going to put it here.
100%.
And by putting it here, I'm going to invest it.
I'm investing it.
Somewhere. In the world of the unknown unknowns.
Unknown unknowns and
the known knowns.
Yes,
100%. In that world where things could work and things might
100%.
not work.
Yeah.
Ukraine story.
Yes.
And then you retire.
Yes.
You expecting to be
I'm going to get a pension of so much.
Every month.
Every month up until
it lapses?
No, until I pass on.
Wow. Jeez, man, that was a good world.
It was a good world, but it was bad for companies.
And that's why I'm saying, because now those 100 rands, if the unknowns happen, the company owner doesn't have enough money to keep this going.
Now I have to keep on funneling this. So I've got this, this liability, man, that I need to think about. That affects my share price, by the way.
Of course.
Investors don't like that.
No.
So I need to take from, and I'm paying. No, but why? Why are we doing that now?
I don't need this.
You see, but from the employee side, then you couldn't leave because those benefits, they were not. You couldn't commute them. You couldn't live with them. So then it means if you say, "Oh, you know what? I don't like it in this company.
I'm leaving.
Cheers, bye-bye." You see, but now some of that money will be used for other people. When are you going? You start somewhere else.
So in the past, in that scenario where you're leaving, would you get some of it?
No, there was no commutation of benefits.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Wow.
Because it's at that point of retirement that I can then say your defined benefits, this actuarial factor, what have you. and I'll give you that pension. So now when you leave, no. Cheers, bye-bye.
There was a culture, though, of sticking around in one company for
100%.
forever.
Yes.
That time did
That
exist.
was that time.
Yes.
You see, people, I've been working here for 40 years.
There are many.
Yeah.
I know people who I found at the SABC when I joined, and I joined SABC in 2000.
Yeah.
They had been there for 20 years.
And they were not going anywhere.
They retired while working for SABC.
They're not going anywhere.
Wow. So, but that culture existed, but now we live in a different world.
Now we live in the defined contribution.
Yeah.
You define how much you need to contribute. So it's up to me now.
And you also define where you're taking it, where you're contributing.
Yeah. So remember, the scheme is the scheme. So as a company, I can set up a scheme.
Okay.
I can set up a pension fund, a provident fund, a retirement annuity. They used to be different, but regulation did away with that. Now they are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because a pension fund, you are forced at retirement, or at least 1/3. You could take it as cash, but the other 2/3 you need to annuitize. So you need to buy something that will give you a pension.
Got you.
You see, provident fund. So that one was for my people.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can tell you, I've been in 1 or 2 board of trustee meetings. The makeup of the provident fund always used to be people that look my dad and my mom, my uncle, and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
People that could take all the money.
Okay.
See, the retirement annuity was the strictest of all of them. So the two, so the pension and the provident you could take your money at the retirement, you could take all of it. You didn't have to buy anything, right? The retirement annuity was more stricter in that, one, at the retirement, you have to annuitize 2/3, but when you change jobs, you can't even touch it.
You leave it.
Yeah, you can't even touch it.
So you lose it, you leave it / you lose it.
No, you never lose it.
But you don't. Oh,
yeah,
it's always there. It's always there. Yours. However,
you can't touch it.
You can't move it with you.
Well, it's not about moving it.
Oh,
with you.
it stays in one place.
It stays in one place.
Got you.
But you can't, you can't do anything.
I'm still caught in the past.
No, so you see now, that's the defined contribution. I own the asset.
It's mine.
It's mine. So that whatever benefit I derive from it, I've defined that contribution into it. I define sometimes the investment strategy underneath
as well.
Yeah. So those managers that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I saw this one when I got off the plane, and that's the one that I want to manage. They must manage my money.
And also, with this one, is it the one that you own? Because there was a time when you resign.
Yeah.
You could take this thing and move it to the next company.
100%. So that's defined contribution still.
However, in the transition,
yeah,
people would then blow the money.
Yes. So you could some fund it all depends on the scheme rules, the structure. You could be a paid up member and just remain. So it's still, because remember, these schemes, it could be a company sponsored scheme.
True,
so I've sponsored it.
Yeah.
So and then the name will say this. You are a member of this. Then I change my job. When I change my job, then I can take it and I can go put it with
the new scheme.
With a new company.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can say, you know what, I'm gonna put it with another provider.
Yes.
Then it'll be called the pension preservation. The provident preservation.
Got you.
Or you can take it and say, listen, I love this new company of mine. I'm going to put it and transfer it to them. Section 14 transfer. And I take it.
However, we've also had a problem, and correct me if I'm wrong, of in the transition, I resign.
Yeah.
I'm not at retirement age at all.
No.
I'm far from it.
Yes.
However, there's value in my fund and it's decent. Relative. 2 million, 1 million. It's a lot of money. And I know exactly the type of problems it's going to solve. And I'm resigning here so I can take this money.
No, you can.
Have we dealt with that at all? Has legislature looked at that?
That's the 2-part. Yeah,
is that what the 2-part is trying to solve?
Yeah, because remember, because now you had the three vehicles: pension, strict at retirement,
true,
provident, not strict at retirement, retirement annuity fund, strict at retirement. So now let's talk about resignations. Pension and provident funds, not strict with resignation.
Meaning,
or you can take all your money.
Right now.
At resignation, you can take all your money.
Okay.
Cheers, bye.
It still applies.
So only to the vested pot. So yeah. So
Ghana, it's 3 pot.
Yeah, it's
really.
3 pots.
It's
Yeah.
not 2, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So only to the vested pot.
Mhm.
And I would say that there's even like 1 or 2 dissections there, but let's just keep it to that. Only to the vested pot. Then can you still do that? The retirement annuity, that one has always been strict.
Mm.
You can't touch that money.
Yeah.
You will touch that money
when
you're 55.
yes.
Whether you resign, you don't resign, it doesn't matter. You are not touching this money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So certain companies, they use that scheme. Other companies, they use the scheme.
Yeah.
It all depends. What the company puts as their employee benefit, and it's through the advice of a consultant, whatever the case might be. The average member in this company is like this.
So let's
put the scheme together. And then they put that scheme together. So yes, you can. You could take that money, but there is tax on it. And then hopefully you go and you buy an asset that actually generates income.
Have we seen problems with the I'm resigning so I can chow my money?
I think that it has always been evident. I mentioned in the presentation, it was noted in 2004 that there's leakage in the system. People take money and they don't preserve.
No.
Preservation is a problem. It has always been a problem.
We're going back to that spending.
It's a spending problem. It's a savings problem. So people, you take the money and you say, listen, I'm going to get married.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay for the wedding. Have a helicopter come through.
Hey, man, why you want to stifle my style? I want a helicopter.
I want a helicopter. I want to do this. And it was so bad that people will leave jobs just to get that money.
So
we
saw crazy numbers.
Yeah. So there's always been leakage in the system. And that's what, I mean, in 2004, that retirement reform paper that was written at that time, it was a discussion paper then. And I'd say, like a little bit more solidified within the 2012, I think it was the midterm budget or whatever, where then, it was, but we need to clamp it down now. Yeah. And I always say, like, I don't think Treasury had a solution at the time. But it was leakage.
But they were aware of the crisis.
No, they knew very well it's a problem.
But why? And I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Why would Treasury care about my own life? They must just leave me alone.
Because you become a problem later on.
Explain.
Well, old age pension, mutent.
Well, but they're supposed to give me my money. Supposed to give me my SASA money.
No. No.
You're saying no, they shouldn't.
No, welfare puts pressure on funds.
On the system.
On the system. Remember, like, you have to understand, national level is still the same as your household. There's a budget. There's money that comes in and there's money that goes out. Now we have to take care of Nkhon. Eh? We have to take care of, our little sister who's not so well. And we have to do those things, but not because of bad behavior, Nkhon.
Yeah.
Can you please put some money away so that I don't have to pay for you?
True.
You see?
Same habit, same behavior.
So socioeconomic structural problems that I have to think about as the Minister of Finance. You see, now that's a problem. So I need to safeguard you from yourself because I'm saying you're not saving enough. I can see. Household saving is low. So now I need to figure out, how do I actually solve this problem? And I need to solve it.
Yeah. How has Treasury done? How have they performed with regards to saving ourselves from ourselves? Saving us from ourselves?
I genuinely don't think we give them enough credit. Genuinely speaking. They like, I've got so much respect for them and what they do. I think National Treasury, they are just one of those group of people within government structures that are just doing fantastically well. And again, maybe it speaks to the fact that we've got such a good financial system in the country, whether it's banking, whether it's this. Because think about tax-free savings. Somebody had to come up with that. To try and say to you, this money I'm not going to tax. Think about the endowment structure.
Yeah.
You see, the endowment structure, although it might not be known in the community, the endowment structure was for those people who start earning a lot of money. And then they said, listen, we'll just tax you up until a particular point.
Yeah.
And then from there, we don't tax you anymore. Like we tax you at a particular rate. 30% or whatever the case might be, right? So they've always been trying to find ways and means of getting people to save. And so they create these things, in regulation. You see the minister goes, the late Tito go, or whether it was the current finance minister, and they'll go and, there's the budget. If you're not listening to those, I would say, do listen to them from time to time, and you'll see like the innovation that comes out. And they do try to say, listen, we want to get our people to save a little bit more. Then they will, like, if you were to say, in terms of financial assets, where do the bulk of financial assets sit for our people? It's probably their retirement savings.
So we have little
Elsewhere.
Yeah. In our properties, some not.
No, financial assets.
Financial, in terms of actual liquid.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in your like your property, I mean, that serves as preservation of assets, but then it also serves as housing as
you
well.
need to have somewhere you live.
You need to have somewhere you live.
Yes.
But to go above and beyond that, it becomes very difficult very quickly.
Yeah.
That we need to put away. Remember that 10% that should be for saving. We need to put it away. That's 6 times your income in an emergency fund. That's a journey, and not a lot of people are there. So a lot of, like, for financial assets, I would say fine between. Bonuses are coming.
You know what we do with that?
Yeah. So like a lot of it is going to be spent.
You know what we do with it?
Not a lot of it is going to see the daylight of the stock market.
No.
Unit trust funds.
No.
For what?
It's going to see Durban. And places like that. Bela Vela. That's where it's going to be spent.
Which is not bad.
No.
In moderation.
That's why I say you can't judge us.
No.
Because then if we live that life, there's no life to live.
Yeah. No, so I mean, and again, it's that thing of saying, how do I structure my whole layout of assets and what have you? Like, should I be going to Durban versus going somewhere closer?
That's it.
And I'm putting something away, but I've got a kitty somewhere. Even if something was to happen, I don't have to borrow. I don't have to ask somebody. I've got something that's sitting somewhere waiting for me to use it or to tap into it. So hence I'm saying there's nothing wrong with enjoying life. There's nothing wrong with good lifestyle in moderation.
That's why I don't want to end this conversation with you saying save, and have a dull life.
No, spend better.
Spend better.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's my. I've spoken to enough people in different industries. But by the grace afforded to me, I've been privy to being like in conversations where I can chat to miners, mining guys before they go underground and what have you. People in the hotel industry, chicken farm. Doesn't really matter. The conversation is the same. Telecommunications.
True. Yeah.
And when you speak to the members, regardless of the levels that they are at, and you start having conversations with them, I'm not a guru. I'm not. If you were to follow me and what have you, I'm as reckless as you are. I can just give you nuggets, like nuggets of maybe you should do this. But it's the same thing that you see. Spend better. That's all. If you start spending better, you can start saving. You crawl before you start walking. If you start saving, you can create wealth. And now you're running.
Yeah.
See?
There's serious movement.
There's movement. Now you've multiplied yourself. Now you've got assets that are growing. Remember that thing. It either grows up or it generates an income. There's no other way. Dividends, share price goes up. Done. Property price goes up.
Yeah.
Rental income. Asset. Value in Brother David gets a lot of money from. See, that's asset basic.
Let's talk about, because I want to get to two-pot.
Yes.
However, before I get smack in the middle of that, I want to talk about the best time to retire.
Ooh.
Or rather, to not retire, start investing on retirement.
As early as possible.
What is early?
Ellie, the minute you start working, just start. Don't
Just that.
just start.
I'm 22. I'm 21.
Doesn't
It's the
matter.
last thing on my mind. I want to
22.
enjoy all this money.
So-
I'm
so-
earning 7,500 rands.
No,
It's my first salary.
it's your first salary.
I
Right?
dream of a car.
So 22, wanting to retire, say like at 60. Like my maths is not going to be so like, but so if you say 60, you say minus 22.
Okay, yes.
38.
Yeah.
38 times 12.
Mm.
456 paycheck
That's how many I have.
before you retire.
Mm.
Before that, remember that asset goes down. So from 22, I'm probably going to be not so valuable at 60. I mean, I can consult, I can do this. It can still be valuable, but it's not going to be that repetitive, well-timed type of cash flow.
Mhm.
So now you can start counting them down. So I've got 456 pay slips to think about. With each and every one of those pay slips, remember now, we spoke about this. We have those buckets.
Mhm.
Part of it should be to save. Part of it should
Into
be
those buckets.
should be to put away some money and build up. Isn't it better, right? If I've got all these 456 pay slips to start small, doesn't really matter,
Mhm.
right? If I just start small, it starts becoming a lesser and a lesser problem. So that's why we always say start early, because if you start late, so now you've got 30 pay slips. Do you know you can't do anything with? So 36 pay slips. That's 3 years.
Mm.
So you find, and you'll see this in conversations where, somebody will be saying, listen, I don't think I've saved enough. We're looking at that million, or it's 2 million. And you're saying, but 2 million will only give me 18,000 rands a month. I'm currently earning 60,000 rands a month, Max.
There's a lifestyle issue there.
See, then I'm going to have problems when I go into retire. I can't retire. That is an actual thing. Okay. So now, how many pay slips do we have? Well, we've got 36 pay slips. So we've got 3 years to retirement. Okay. So what commitments have you got now? So I've got a commitment on my car. I've got a commitment on my cell phone. I've got a commitment on this. So now for us to reject those pay slips to be pointed a lot more towards the things that will build up that asset so that we can take it up a little bit. Can you see that it's difficult to turn that ship? That ship is hitting that iceberg. There's no ways.
You have to make drastic decisions. Or maybe you're too late.
It could be that.
Yeah.
Or else now you have to take down a lot of things. If you've got other supplemental income coming through, like bonuses, then
Send it there.
no longer doing anything. I'm just putting it in there. You see? So hence we say, like, if you've got more pay slips to think about,
You have the iceberg. You can't even see.
you
it.
can't see it. It's too far.
Yes, you can change course.
Listen, you at this point in time, you're still docked. People are still getting on.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
there's a lot more that you can do.
There's still excitement.
There's still excitement.
Yeah.
You don't have that problem that the iceberg is in front of you.
But we don't have the ability, and we've spoken about this already, to imagine the iceberg
Well, that's where we always say get a financial advisor
at a young age.
at a young age. It's never too late. Have a chat.
What have we observed about the youth and retirement?
They don't think about it. No, they don't think about it.
Educated or not?
Educated or not.
Yeah.
You can be an engineer and still not be good with money.
Of course.
You can be a financial professional and still not be good with money, by the way.
Jeez. You could be an accountant.
You could be an accountant and still not be good with money. You can question it. You can do this. It's difficult to manage. And you come with your 900 degrees. Yeah, but then what about this? What about this? No. Your problem is you spend too much. Nah, but what about this? But I earn
a lot of money. You see my payslip?
Yeah, I heard about this and Bitcoin. This. No, mate. You're spending too much money.
Manage your spending.
See.
Wow.
So there's a. I'm just saying, like, I've spent time with advisors as well. In a previous role, and you listen to them. You listen to some of the conversations that they have and whatnot. And
Yeah.
no, not all professions, not all clients are the same and whatever. And I must say, it's Just because you're good with numbers, just because you're good with this doesn't make
Or you have multiple degrees.
No, it doesn't. Because you are effectively outsourcing a part of a gambit of activities that you've got or things that you're responsible for. That's what
True.
you're actually doing. You're finding a financial consultant who's also a financial project manager.
Yeah.
They come, firstly, you have to be receptive to the consulting.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Would like to set up an appointment.
Yeah. Set up an appointment and I come through and then I do a needs analysis. I do an analysis and I say, this is where I think the problems are. That DSTV needs to,
Well, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
This needs to go away.
Yes.
Some of these subscriptions, do we really need all of them?
We have all of them. Most people have all of them. It's $100 there, $100 there, $100 there,
and they add
$100
up.
there, $300 there. It's not a lot. All subscriptions are $1,000. Come on.
Exactly.
What's $1,000?
What's $1,000?
Yes, somebody will say that.
100%. You see, I consume it. I don't have time for TV actually. I don't do this. So now you're spending, you're not consuming, you're not getting any value out of it.
No.
What else could that 100 rands be doing right now?
Is it because there's I've sat in front of financial advisors and I've read part of is it Host's book?
Yeah, Johan, yeah.
And there's references to the value of 100 rands.
Very important, yeah.
To say that 100 rands,
there's value to it.
Its compounding ability is something that will blow you away.
If you just put it aside and forget about it.
Yeah.
Put it in the market. Forget about it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. See, that's where the problem is. If you look at it after 2 months, after 3 months, no. You shouldn't do that. Don't look at it. The same way you don't have time to look at all of those subscriptions.
those that are worth 100 rands.
Don't have time for that.
Just put it away and
just
leave
put it away. And that's why you always see like all the asset managers, they always have like 100, on the fund fact sheet, 100 rands. And then it's all of a sudden 10,000 rands. When you look at it, you're like, but 10,000, but Max, 10,000 is not a lot. Yeah, but 100 rands each and every month.
That's what it does. And 100 rands that you are just ignoring.
You're just ignoring. You will end up surprising yourself. So, and that's what we keep on saying. You're hiring a financial consultant who comes in and says, listen, there's certain things. Do you really enjoy this? Do you really find value in this? Or can we shift a little bit? Can we shift some of these things? And then because they consult you, you accept the consultation. Now you can also outsource the project management, which is now let's implement.
True.
Now we start implementing.
Yeah. Is it a crisis? The young people thing?
Yeah, I mean, some of them sometimes they don't have that much, but I don't think I don't think it's a notion that we are accustomed to, like financial advice and what. I don't think it's and financial planning, the fact that you need to sit down with somebody, and it's generally a very opaque type of place where, it's like you're going into the wilderness. You don't know where to go. Where do I start next? Like, how do I know? Like, I've heard stories. I've heard this, what have you. They sell policies. Bar, and what have you.
Yes.
And that's where I would say, before you hire somebody, before you hire somebody who helps you at home or whatever, you probably go through interviews or you get recommendations from a friend or whatever the case might be. And that's where I'd say, even with that, have interviews of potential financial consultants who will also be a financial project manager. That's typically a very long-term relationship. If you find a good person, those people will be there. They might even be like one of your trusted people. They know your ins and outs from a financial point of view.
Because they know your money.
They know your money.
Yeah, it's something that probably nobody else knows.
You see, they know your money. I've had stories where, either a wealth manager or a financial advisor is being asked to come and speak at somebody's, to deliver an obituary or whatever.
What?
Yeah, that's how tight it becomes.
Yeah.
You trust that person so much. So, but as a youngster, I would say, there is tools out there, the fintechs or what have you, where you can start yourself. Just be motivated enough to say, you know what, I've heard about this. I was listening to Brother David and Max, and you know what, let me just put aside some money and forget about it.
What is the, and this is probably not a fair question. What amount does one start with? And note, let's strip away lifestyle issues
Yes.
for a second.
Okay.
And just give this person a normal, simple, I'm able to wake up and eat every day
Yeah.
when I'm 70 years old.
Yes.
I don't have to be flying to Phuket.
Yes.
I'm good.
You're good.
Yes. How much are we talking? What are the rents and cents? What are the final numbers?
Okay, so I mean, start with regulation. We'll say 27.5. That's the tax deductibility. So you can start there. Like if you're an overachiever, 27.5% of your gross income.
Okay.
Overachiever.
We're already doing too much.
You're doing too much. You're doing fantastically well. Well done to you. Pat you on the back.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say somewhere around 10% to 15%. Like just aim there at least, man. At least 15%.
Just close your eyes and put it away.
Play around with it. See what happens if you don't do it. If you don't add to it, and what it does to your tax, whether it moves you into the below tax bracket and what have you. There's tax deductibilities from some of these things, from some of these savings.
Yeah.
So and what that means is just that if I earn 100 rands, right, gross, and I take 15 rands, so 15% for instance, and I put it into a retirement saving vehicle, the taxman does not consider 100 rands. They only look at the 85.
True.
That's the one that they want to tax. You see, that 15 rands,
they
say or no.
That's why you guys send us during time for returns.
Yes,
you send us the value of our tax, our retirement,
of your retirement.
Exactly.
And in that would be the 15 rands that you've been adding on. But again, there's benefits to now the Mr. Taxman, Mr. SARS does not even look at the 100 rands. You've done very well because you've put the 15 rands here. I'm not going to touch that. By the way, that's why on the savings pot, when you take it out, the taxman
tax you.
They
Yes.
tax you.
Yeah.
It's not to add more to the pot. It's that they're saying, had you not made that initial contribution, I would have taxed you. So I'm taxing you now.
However, at a certain age,
Yeah,
I'll tax you less.
remember, we're going to that 75%. So now I shouldn't be taxing you that much.
Because you're old.
You're old. You see, I need to make sure that whatever you've put aside lasts as long as possible. Because if it lasts as long as possible, you become less of a problem for me and my compadres. For me and the finance minister. Me as a SARS commissioner. You become less of a problem for me.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't be taxing you that much. I should be taxing the people that can wake up, go to the gym, do this. No, those ones I want to tax.
So 25%.
Yes.
Overachiever.
27.5. Yeah, that's
overachiever.
The maximum.
Yeah. If you're doing 30, why not? Go do your thing.
Yeah.
15% if you're all right.
If you're okay, yeah. Like I think there, I mean, if there's an employer contribution is about 7.5 and yourself 7.5, at least try for that. But do try to add more. So usually we'll always say like if you're getting a bonus, some of that bonus, use it for retirement saving as well.
We don't think that way though.
No, but you should. Again.
Yeah. We don't think. You're asking too much of us.
No, but again, each and every one of those 100 rands, are you actually maximizing them? They need to work. You can't make it easy for that 100 rands. They need to work. You must
extract.
Money. You must extract value.
Yeah.
And sometimes that extraction is not today. It's later on. You were in the market when things were happening and there was no money and everybody was looking for money. And you were that one person who came in with 100 rands. See?
Put it in there.
And when you put it in there, because there was depressed asset prices,
things were cheap.
Things were cheap.
Like Lawnman at some point.
It was cheap.
Yes.
So you come in there, man, your money will skyrocket.
Yeah.
You see? I'm not saying time the market. I'm just saying.
No, it's who can.
Yeah. Over time.
Yeah.
You get those opportunities. We want to say to people, crises, yes, they're bad. We don't like them. But those are the best times to invest. That's why most asset managers, they launch funds around crisis time.
Because that's when they know.
There's no down, there's up.
Only.
There's up.
Yeah.
asset prices are low and what have you. My long-term track record. When I show it and I say, but David, I mean, come and look at me, man. I've got all the best asset analysts and portfolio managers, and look at my track record. I only go up.
Sure. And it is called ingenious.
Mm.
This solution
It is.
that the Treasury has introduced.
No, it is.
And we're talking about two-pot.
No, it is. It is.
Tell me why, because there are people who are like, government is, there's all sorts of conspiracy theories. On my
Yeah.
radio show, they say government is trying to raise money.
No.
There's someone saying this whole thing is a scam. I even know of people who left their jobs because
Yeah.
they thought
Oh, the money's.
they are taking our money. Something doesn't add up here. I know someone that actually quit their job and took all their money. They're probably only 50 now, or 55, give or take. And they took all their cash. And,
Yes.
well, they're probably going to increase the size of their house, and life carries on.
And probably have to sell that house and move to a smaller house to supplement their income. So, okay. Why is it ingenious?
Why is it ingenious?
We go back to 2004. There's leakage in the system. This is a problem. When you change jobs, you're not saving money. How do I get you to save money?
How does government get you to save money?
People will ban anything. I'm telling you. You force anyone. They will ban things. Like, it's not even they will ban things. It's my money. Why do you get to tell me what to do with my money?
True.
Okay. You fast forward to COVID. No one could have foreseen COVID. Nobody. That was a tough time.
True.
There were a lot of layoffs, not just in South Africa, by the way, everywhere.
Yeah.
Because the models that were there of people going to the shop and whatever, like, I know we only remember the masks, but they were detrimental to businesses and like the normal running of how people were generating money. And people had to be laid off and whatever. So those were times when things were bad, like they were bad. So a couple of governments looked at that time and said, listen, but what assets do people have
There we
that
go.
we can help them out? Peru and Chile were one of them. They looked at it and they implemented something.
Okay.
What they did, they allowed access. I think the Chileans, they allowed like 3 times or something. But they had no limit. Like there was no only 10,000
Okay.
or 10%. No, so people clean everything out. People were going in.
So they say, come, it's your money.
Yeah. So we were opening the window. They went in. They dipped. Okay, so now I know. So now when they open it for the second time, just imagine the seeding happened, say, in September. Suppose the seeding was happening again in December. There are people who were diligent enough, right, to say, listen, I'm not going to touch it. But now that available amount is now no longer 30, it's 60. You see, now somebody's going to go in and say, I'm going to dip now. Now it's at that point
Where
it
it's
makes
good,
sense.
it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Like,
One of my callers said on the radio, it's too little.
yeah, you see.
I want it when it's sizable.
Yeah.
Like if it's this little, Ari did his calculations and it will give him 22,000 rand.
100%.
And he said, nah, I'm going to waste it.
Yeah.
I want it when I can actually do something meaningful.
You see that. And that's why I keep on saying, like, this year, it's not the one. Next year after that, when that savings pot starts building up with that 1/3, even the best of our people will start looking at it. I'm telling you now, they'll look at it.
Even those who can control
Even
themselves.
those who can control, even the overachievers will say, listen, but I've got something there.
And it's decent.
And it's decent.
And it's cash, it's liquid.
Like, I can pay the tax. Pay it in any case. I get on a plane and take my family with. We go to wherever we're gonna go and whatever. Then we come back, and so there will come a time when everybody will, people will start thinking about it. But going back to kind of like the design of the systems.
Yeah.
So some of the governments, they didn't put any limits or whatever. So I think what National Treasury did, which was fantastic, was that they said, well, in what situation do we actually want people to be doing this? So it's actually the hardship that we're worried about. The times when the situation, the context in which it's tough for you. See, and I love how sometimes they put it. They'll say, "Listen, if you are struggling financially, you lost your job and whatever, what happens to your total income that's taxable? It should come down,
Of course.
which means that we'll tax you less, which means that that savings pot actually becomes meaningful to supplement you during the time.
Sure.
So that was one of the key objectives, to say we'll give you access, but it's actually for when things are not so great for you. See, but then they did something that nobody talks about, which is the forced preservation. Right?
Okay.
You're not going to touch the 2/3 up until you retire. Now, somebody might say, but Max, you know what? We always had that. Say, like in a retirement annuity. It was the strictest of all of them. You can't touch it up until that age of 55. So now, across all of them,
it applies.
It applies because now they're saying, well, there was a harmonization between the pension and the provident to align the two. So now all of them are the same. You can't touch that 2/3 up until you get to
Retirement age.
Yeah.
And even when you get there, you can't take all of it.
Well,
some products.
Yeah. So remember on the retirement, on that retirement component, that has to purchase. It has to purchase it. It goes straight into purchasing income.
Okay.
Okay. In the vested pot, then you can say, because the vested pot has the old rules in them, that's where you can say, yeah, well, part of it I can take. Because remember, in the old system, right, take the strictest one. You can say, well, actually, they've just brought that 1/3 that I could have taken in any case at retirement and brought it in 12 months rolling periods.
Yes.
Because I had access to it in any case. In the pension fund, it would have been the same. Had I been diligent and preserved when I changed jobs, it would have been the same when I retire. Because when I retire, that's when I would be what? I can take the 1/3.
Gotcha.
So now they just said, listen, the 1/3, it was yours in any case. You can have it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
What advice would you give to someone in relation to two-pot? Here's a book I was reading called, I forget it now that I want to remember, but I'll tell you now. It says die with zero. It says enjoy your money while you're still here.
Yeah.
Have all the experiences. If you wanted to go fly out of a plane, do it. Do it now when you're still at the right age to enjoy it. Because the older you get, the less you actually are able to extract enjoyment from your money. True. The club is noisy.
Yeah.
The flight, the walk up from the plane to the parking is long.
It's tiring.
You know what I mean? Even the smallest things become unpleasant to do.
No,
a holiday to Peru is not that pleasant because you come back exhausted instead of refreshed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not true.
So it's all of that and enjoy your time.
Yeah.
And I was reading a book and I got a sense that it applies in some way to two-pot.
Yeah.
Why? It says here's an opportunity for you to tap into money that you were only allowed to tap into when you're too old to enjoy it.
100%.
Now you're allowed, some window to put in your hand and fetch some money.
Yes.
And I said, I imagine someone taking this year's 30,000, 25, 22, whatever the your tax bracket, and then saying, I'll go to a holiday with my family. It's an experience that otherwise I would not have. Yeah. Or when I'm at the right age to enjoy it, my kids would be too old to want to do it with me.
No, 100%.
All of that. Yeah. Or I am not able to pay for my child's better school.
Yes.
And I can tap into this money and give them this reward of a better education while I'm actually can look after them.
No, it's true. Again, it always comes back to lifestyle. It always comes back to that. So you come from a context where you didn't have access to this money. Okay. And you had hopes and dreams and what have you. Right. If you had those hopes and dreams, why were you not working on them without this money?
Hey, I've been working. but I have not been earning enough
Yeah.
for this type of hopes and dreams. But I've been working.
Mm.
I've been putting my hard and my hours to good use.
Yeah, no.
However, I'm not earning the rewards. You can go to philosophical concepts like I'm not lucky and I've tried and I've all
true.
of that.
then again, like if you were to split it up and say, listen, that little money that I'm getting for the lifestyle that I yearn for, maybe it's not. I need to do something else.
Not this.
Because like again, like just go back to the fact that contextually I didn't have access to this money. It was money that was being put away for such a time when I can't do anything. Why are you going in there now?
Because, and I said it.
Yeah, to live to like you're taking it to zero. This is the time.
Yeah.
Okay, if this is the time, okay, if this is the time, and we want to go to Peru or we want to go to London or whatever,
and I have access.
Yeah. Why are you not putting that money away? But before this, instead of, there's something that you can always cut
to accommodate the Peru aspirations.
But leaving this, there's aspirational stuff. Again, there's pockets. Somewhere you're not spending. I'm telling you, there's somewhere where you're overspending on something. If genuinely. So, and remember, we're talking. We're talking to a people here that studied, and they know late nights at varsity. Yes, maybe you're not lucky at this point. You haven't gotten your break and whatever the case.
But I'm putting in the hours.
And you're putting in the hours.
Yeah.
So you know what it is to sacrifice. Okay. So here's an aspiration. The same way, that same, like rigor that you're putting in to reach whatever aspirational milestones in your career, in your business, in your whatever. Why are you not doing it with these fluffy, once in a lifetime? You're going to do it over 2 days, 3 days, you're back. And you're looking at this. You see, that's greed.
It's not greed, it's my money.
No, yes, but not for now.
Yeah, but you're saying I should enjoy it when I don't even have the legs to enjoy it.
But then, so I'm saying there's a particular context, there's a particular future that you can go into where you can't even buy bread because you chose to go to Peru. Do you get what I'm? So there's a time, and that's that optimistic. Like screw that we've got as a people. Like that's what we do. Like no, but then it's gonna be fine, Max. No, it's not. There'll be a time when yes, it's painful for you to get off the plane. Yeah, and it's gonna be even more painful if you don't have medication.
And I hear
for
this.
Normal day-to-day stuff.
True. Like you can't go to the gate.
You see.
Yes, and you need some money to keep you going.
So that's essential.
The phrase that's used, which I think you're using in many words, of you're borrowing from your future self.
Your future frail self.
That future self can't have a lot of money. Next part. That future, and I like that you use the word frail. He's too frail to enjoy this money.
No, but then he's too frail to even take care of himself. He's too frail to do a lot of things. He's looking at medical expenses that are so high.
So you would say, as ingenious as Two-Pot is, what advice would you give to the average person who has access and who's saying, I actually want to take this money every year?
Okay. So we did look at it. He said, listen, is there any value? Like, what? And the biggest thing to think about is optionality. James Clear says optionality is freedom. Okay, or equates to freedom or something like that. Max takes money each and every year. Max doesn't take money. We get to retirement. There's a pot that I didn't touch that gives me options. Yes. I know that we always think, that age 55, age 60 is old. Black don't crack. Let me just tell my people that. We don't crack.
We live
very
long.
Very long. And we are healthy. Go look at a 50-year-old, 60-year-old today, and you tell me if that person cannot do certain things. I know you want to go to Ibiza or whatever the case might be. Like, listen, those things are fleeting moments. Man. Yeah, yes,
They're memories.
yeah, they're memories. Do them, but not at the sacrifice of a future that is not necessarily certain, on a future that you cannot predict, on a future that you don't know the state in which you would be. And rather sacrifice and say, for the next 3 years, I'm going to work towards going to Ibiza, having fun, doing this, going to seeing the world, going to Zaria, go to Nigeria, go and do this, go and explore my continent, get to know my people. Kigali, like go do some. I get it. Go do it.
Separate saving.
Yeah.
I'm saying I have money.
I'm saying that there needs to be
Another source,
other portfolios. The emergency fund, the retirement savings, I don't care, I'm gonna spend it. Money. That you need to work towards that, but don't be touching and taking money from here. And do you take your bond money to go to do certain things? No, you pay your bond.
Some months.
Some months.
No,
but
I'm joking.
But it shouldn't be like that.
I know. No,
right?
And then you mess up with your credit.
Your credit scores and whatever.
Yes.
So like you can't be taking here and here and here. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yes, I want to go on holiday. I want to do this. I want to buy a bigger car. I want to do this. Yeah. Work towards it.
As ingenious then as it is, you would say still try not to touch it if you can avoid it.
You're coming from a world where you couldn't touch it. Why are you touching it?
Because it's here.
Because it's here. You see, that's a problem.
How much did South Africans draw? We probably don't know today's number,
it's
but we're dealing with
billions.
Billions.
And the problem is, again, the scary thing is that it's only 30,000 maximum.
Imagine.
So next year, this money is going to be so much. I just can see no more stock. Like Stockfels might even disappear.
Because I got
I'm a
this
Stockfel
thing.
of one.
Yeah, I got this thing coming.
So I mean, December holidays is about to be like bumper to bumper.
Very different. Actually, again, I go back to the callers I got today. There's a lady who called and said, I'd like to be anonymous.
Yeah.
I have drawn, I got 22,000 rands.
Yeah.
And I put it away for December. I have, I'm getting my stock fail.
Yeah.
End of November.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it in that. All right, David, I need security at this stage. I'm living well.
I need blue lights.
That's why I'm anonymous. I don't want people to know that it's me. So you understand where we are. And also you can't deny us money that we think we need. Do you know that whole...
You want.
Well, we think we need, because I've been wanting to patch that crack. For the past 5 years, I haven't had enough money to do it.
No, but again, like then it goes back to that planning.
Yeah.
You're not planning properly. Like if this was something that existed without the option of touching, you should have been working on it in any case. There's something. Because then you will always run, like you'll always be almost like chasing your tail.
True, and you'll never catch it.
There's certain things you need to cut down on. If genuinely you can sit down and just say, listen, I'm having a look at this portfolio. Again, those subscriptions, I don't know, like those ones I just know they just take too much money. Take those things out. Have a look at
look at your cell phone bill.
Your cell phone bill. You're eating out.
Yeah.
Those are practical. You can control yourself.
Next date night, bruh.
Yeah, a date night. But do you have to have 3 date nights in a month?
4.
4. Ah, come on.
You need 4. We need 1 a week.
No, we're not courting each other. You know me, I know you. You probably know how much I earn. I know how much you earn. You know we can only do 1.
Yeah. But the relationship needs a spark.
No.
But you
not at the detriment
of your future.
Of your future. Not at the detriment of something that you just don't know. You don't know. You don't know how long you're gonna live.
I want to talk about that because it comes across a lot in in retirement presentations, and
Yeah.
there's one in particular that I went through. Talks about the variables of retiring comfortably.
Yeah.
It says how many years do you have to retirement at
Yeah.
this moment when we are having this conversation.
Yes.
It goes back to those how many months you
The
still
pay
have.
slips, yeah.
It talks about the kind of returns you'll be earning between now and
then-
retirement.
Yeah.
What are these returns? And it says this is an important one.
Yeah.
You have no idea
Yeah.
how long you're going to live
No.
from the day you're retired to the day you die of
To the
old
day.
age.
You don't know. And it's not even just that. There was a paper that was published at one of the societies that spoke to the legacy index.
Mm.
That sometimes you've got a bequeathing objective. I need to leave something behind.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just I'm living in retirement. I'm living in retirement, but I don't want my kids to start from zero.
Can we debate that for 1
Yeah.
second? The average age of a couple conceiving
Yeah.
and then birthing a child is 25,
25.
give or take.
Yeah.
By the time I hit 60,
Yeah.
that child is 30.
No, true. True.
If they haven't sorted out their own lives, we've done a bad job to parent.
No, but is it not that the second generation should be still saying, but we had a grandfather?
I hear you.
You see, and again, like it is that thing of saying, like there needs to be some form of wealth transfer. But be that as it
yes.
You're
saying don't live to and leave nothing for your kids and your grandkids.
All I'm saying is, there's pre-retirement,
Mm-hmm.
years to retirement, and then there's that thing of retiring. I always say I call it metric.
Mm.
Yeah, because everybody fusses over it.
Like
It-
Patrick, yeah.
Yeah, it takes 2 seconds.
And then you're retired.
Yeah, now you're retired.
Yes.
And then there's like 40 years.
Sure.
So we model 40 years for professionals in most cases. Yeah, 40 years is a long time. And then there might be a bequeathing objective
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
Like, and it doesn't have to be for the kids. It might be for the cause that I
Might be for
feel-
charity.
Yeah,
Might be for
might be for
for the
something
rhino.
else, right? For the rhinos, it might be
Yes.
for education or whatever the case might be. Just helping. I want to be remembered, right? So, what do you know pre-retirement? Okay, we spoke about the 456 pay slips. So if you've got 300 pay slips, if you've got 120 pay slips, so 10 years retirement, what you know for certain is the fact that, potentially, not even for certain, I'll still keep on earning. So there will be pay slips, 120. Now, the size of those pay slips, I also know is probably going to be going up. We know the known.
the known
knowns.
knowns. Yes.
So that's where, I've got all the nice brands and what have you that are helping me to actually do what needs to be done. I think I can talk about 361 is one of
Absolutely.
it's one of our partnered asset managers and what have you, and they manage money fantastically. David and the team at the multi-manager within the business, they manage the money and whatnot. So they can give you some form of return. And there's various strategies that give certain returns. You can have your CPI plus 2 or inflation plus 2, inflation plus 3. And the reason why we always peg it to inflation, so within the PPS investment side, we peg it to inflation because we're saying we don't want to lose the value of money over time.
True.
So if we're going to be giving you a return, it had at least preserve the value of money, regardless of what that value of money has done. So that's why you can then say, listen, I'm hoping if I've got 10 years, I can stomach some, Putin waking up and destroying some things. Things will go back to normal. Because again, as much as we are optimistic, so is the world.
Yeah.
So that's why things, typically they go up. So if I've got 10 years, I'll still have enough time to recover from anything that's bad. Okay.
I still have a long runway.
Yeah, I've got a long runway before we land this plane, right? So then it implies I can take a little bit more risk. I can go for a CPI plus 5 type of mandate and inflation plus 5. So typically in the industry, they will call them the balance fund. So your balance funds, your your high equity, multi-asset portfolios or whatever the case might be. And if you're going for those, usually they are also like they manage money in line with what a regulation says you should be managing, like the limits for a retirement type product. Regulation 28 limits, which has certain guidances and what have you, to say, you shouldn't be more than 75% in equities. You can go so much into global markets and so on and so forth, and all those things. You can have a little bit in hedge funds and so. So they've got those types of limits. So those are suitable types of things to be thinking about when you're saying, well, you don't know what the return is going to be. The asset manager doesn't know. The investment manager, the multi-manager doesn't know. But we're targeting something.
There are these things.
We've got something that we've looked at it and we've looked at it and we've looked deeper into it. And we think over 5 years, we should be able to get CPI plus 5.
And also, I guess it's history also kind of tells you.
True.
Yeah.
It as much as it doesn't repeat it, it does rhyme. But also at the same time, there is so like if you think about the world of an asset manager or an investment manager, there will always be opportunities that come about. So I might be buying something today, and then after I get my profits, I get I take it away. I take those profits and I go give it to somebody else. Remember that notion of they are unloved. They are not getting any money. So now they will sell themselves at 60 cents on a rand. That's the time when we say, listen,
here it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
Because we know. We've looked at it. You are unloved. 60 cents on a rand. So now I know I'm going to get my 40 cents and then I might get even a little bit more sum. Then I can get to my CPI plus. It might not take a year. It might not take 2 years. It might take 3 years. So then we'll say a little bit more time is the types of investment opportunities that we are then looking at to say now, over the short term, don't look at it. But over the long term, look at that every 5-year print. So for somebody who invested 5 years from now to today, 5 years, the day before to yesterday, each and every one of those 5-year prints, all we're trying to get to is to preserve the value of money and give you 5% on top, or give you 6% on top, or give you 4% on top, or whatever the case might be. So that's the return. Now you get to retirement now. When you get to retirement, that's a different story. Remember I told you, that's where now like I used to do presentations to members. I told you, like to miners
and farm workers.
It's exciting, you get to meet people who are my mom, my dad's age, my uncle's age, or whatever the case might be. And I used to say to them, COVID really helped, right? Because retirement is both financial and psychological and everything else. Because COVID forced you to sit at home with your wife, with your girlfriend, and so on and so forth.
And with your thoughts.
Yes. Right? Because previously, when people went into retirement, firstly, retirement is a lonely journey, right? Because it'll be bad human capital planning to have 20% of my staff base retiring in any 1 year.
Well, highly unlikely.
Yeah. You see, highly unlikely.
Yes.
I shouldn't have that.
No.
Right?
Something's wrong.
Yeah, something would be wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. So I need to have at least, say, like 3%, 4% retiring. That's fine. It's normal. And I'll be getting new intakes and so on and so forth. Because I don't want to lose that human capital.
True.
Institutional. That institutional
yes,
knowledge and what have you. So that means that it's more likely than not that if you're retiring, for instance, you're probably the only one in your department.
That's why they make it a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a party.
it's a party and whatever.
Yes.
But it's a lonely journey. It's a scary journey.
True.
Now I was listening to Brad David and Max talking about how I might just get 9,000. You see, it's scary.
It's even
whatever.
scarier.
Yeah.
And you were earning 50,000.
You were earning 50,000. But because now you were changing jobs and getting married and hiring helicopters and all those nice things. And I guess that's the one part that it is a scary part on that journey front. The point that I was making about COVID and COVID forcing us to be with our family was that most people didn't actually understand when you go into retirement, your partner goes into retirement, because usually people are the same age.
Yeah.
All of a
Give or
sudden you
take.
wake up. There's no more going to the office. No. You wake up, there she is.
Yep.
She's also waking up.
Yeah.
What are we doing today? Let's go to, I don't know. Yep.
Let's go to Bela Bela.
Yeah. but you can't go to Villa Villa.
You don't have money.
Now, most people had to learn to live with their partners. So that is the thing about that retirement. There's a whole like anxiety that comes with it, but then acceptance. Okay, and then you get into it. So there's a psychological part, right? Like the financial part. That's easy. That's easy. And I've seen this. Like you look at me. I'm a young man, like, but Maxwell. Again, when I was sitting down, like by the grace that has been afforded into my life, sitting down and listening to financial advisors who have dealt with, they've got those client bases, and they will, as they deliver these presentations, and you take from that, and then that's my presentation as I take it to the members as well. Say like, there's a couple of phases. Then you start accepting. Okay, this is life.
You make it sound like a crisis in your life.
Yeah, this is life.
Denial and then
no, because
acceptance.
Like, even as you're going into it, and I'm hoping people might have seen this, or some people might be going through it as well. The person says, "But I'm still so energized."
Yeah.
See, they're not accepting it is the time to let go. I think my dad, they had to force him to retire because he was sleeping on the job.
Because he thought he still had it.
He still thought he had it.
Yes.
And said, Mr. Mojapelo, come on now. You've sold it now.
We should tell that to some presidents. Anyway, it's...
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
At some point we need to just...
yeah.
But, and then as you start accepting it, then you develop a new lifestyle. Oh, so-and-so have also retired. Oh, really? Yeah. Then you go into that space where now you've got a community. Okay. You've got a community and what have you. Then people start passing on.
Yeah. It's that time.
Yeah. And you'll even hear it from your own parents. Like I hear it from my parents quite a lot. Oh, so-and-so. Oh, he was young. Oh, she was young.
They say that.
Yeah, she was young. And that's I'm just saying, like, there's a psychological side of this thing. It's not, just...
It's not just you're retired, you're no longer going to work.
Yeah. And what we find, and especially, our people have not made all these provisions for retirement in most cases. So it's normal for either one of us stays at home. In certain cultures, it's who's taking mom or dad.
True. Amongst the siblings.
Amongst the siblings.
Yeah.
Who's taking them. And that is when we are talking. And some of them, again, like cultures are different. Some of them might say, listen, we go to a home or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
So now do you see?
We don't do that much.
We don't do it.
No.
Right? So, and that's where we will say things such as we need to have sufficient provision. When we say you're taking from your future self, I need you to understand that part. That's the reality of life during that time.
That's your future self.
That's your future self.
And you don't want to get to your future self and you're broke.
No.
Or your future self is broke.
Or your future self is... Now, we always cling on to, but I don't want to go to, to the US or to whatever when I'm 60. No, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about that time. You've outlived your friends. So now you're a problem. You can't take care of yourself. It's a danger for you to be by yourself.
Yeah.
So how do we handle that financially? So now, the value of 100 rands in that context versus the value of 100 rands in this context where you're saying, yeah, but it's my money now, but I want to do this, but makes I want to go on.
I want to enjoy it.
Which one is more valuable?
I'll tell you the argument that would answer that.
Yeah.
The argument would say, that life I don't know yet. I haven't lived it.
I know.
I know this one.
Yeah.
Right now, I know that I want to have that ice cream right now.
Not true.
That one, I may not even get there. It's Nkabi now. We die.
Yeah. No.
I may not even get there.
But
now I'm here. I can't deny myself ice cream,
Yeah.
saving for this old guy that I haven't met.
And that's where we always say, get yourself a financial consultant
Let them make sense of this.
who might have a lived experience with somebody, who might say, listen, I've actually seen this. This is not a story.
Mm.
Here's somebody, and this is what they're going through right now.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen to you, but it's a possibility.
There's a lived experience here.
There's a lived experience here. Weigh it up. Value that 100 rands now. Which one is more valuable? And that's you must always think about it from in which context would I change the value of this 100 rands? In some contexts, it's actually 10 rands. In some contexts, talk about splashing money. See, you valued it lower than it is. Versus at some point, it's 1,000.
Are there products that are able to give you exactly what you were earning? It's probably an extreme question.
Yeah.
Because we have to first start by determining how much you were earning. But they're able to sustain your lifestyle so well that, hey man, I was earning 50,000 rands, for example, net when I was working, and I'm still there.
Yeah,
sounds extreme. Like you have to put in a lot.
Yeah, I would love to have something that goes up all the time and never down. We wouldn't be working if those things existed. We wouldn't be working.
Yes.
I don't listen. I'd say I haven't seen it. There's never enough. If you save enough money, okay, if you save enough, start saving early, you are in the right investment strategies. Again, you are that overachiever of the 27.5% year in, year out. Probably doesn't matter. There are some people who genuinely it really does not matter. They come from like high positions and they come out with like money like you wouldn't believe it.
But those are one in how many?
Yeah. Like one in a company, two in a company.
That's it.
Yeah,
a company of 5,000 people.
A company of 5,000. Like so, it's like I wouldn't say there's a product that can solve bad behaviors.
Yeah.
Markets doing what they sometimes do. So there isn't a product per se that can immunize you against that. What we can do instead is to try and find ways and means of lessening some of those problems. But we always say the best one, just behave yourself.
It starts there.
Like that's like, or else then it becomes our problem now. So then you come to the investment industry and you say, listen, investment industry, I haven't saved enough. I've taken some money here. I've been chowing all the 1/3 from the savings pot. And I've got this type of lifestyle. And I cannot
change
it down. No. I want to stay in this area code, thrive in this and what have you. And my wife and I, we go on trips all the time, by the way. And we do this. We just sit in there and listen. Okay. You're going to run out of money very soon.
Yeah.
No, but solve it. See? So then you give the problem to somebody else. So what we can do is that we can try to find or lessen certain things that exist. Longevity risk, it's the possibility that you're going to outlive your money. That's longevity risk.
That's common though, isn't it?
It's very common. You just haven't saved enough. That's what it is. You haven't saved enough. You've got a lifestyle that doesn't correlate with that asset. See, now all of a sudden you are, I don't know, like a particular star, but you want to live like Elon Musk. But you're a celebrity, but you want to live like Elon Musk. You see, the lifestyle that this man can afford versus the value that the ecosystem attaches to, it's not the same thing. So now, that could potentially be your longevity risk. Market risk is, we spoke about it. It's
unpredictable.
It's unpredictable. We appoint a new finance minister out of nowhere over a weekend. See, that's a problem. It has nothing to do with you. It is a problem. The other one is just that, inflation is inflation. It's a problem. Something costs something today, tomorrow it costs more. And those are the realities, you know. It's not a bad thing; it's a good thing because we've seen if they go down, it's a problem. It's a problem.
True.
It's a problem to the economy. It's a scary fact. Like nobody wants that. So we also need to make sure that we can keep up with inflation, because if you can't keep up with inflation, you can't keep up with what? With your lifestyle.
That's it.
Yeah. So there's certain, I can't say there's a product, but there's
certain ways.
investment strategies. There's certain ways in which we put a investment solution together to actually try to guard against those problems.
Interesting.
But we're not saying we're solving them.
No. You're making the lending softer.
Yeah, like we are trying to minimize the impact. We're putting we're putting an airbag.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You're going to hit something.
You're gonna hit something.
Yeah.
But we're putting in an airbag.
Let's talk about some of the small dynamics of this two-pot.
Yeah.
Like just some of the issues that may have come up. Some people were shocked by the tax burden that comes with this.
Yeah.
And the most common is I was expecting so much and I didn't get so much.
No, we just
what have you heard about some of these issues?
Firstly, one, it's not a tax burden.
Yeah, well,
we spoke about that because
let me rephrase, and I'm still wrong.
Yeah.
Tax surprise.
Tax surprise. Yeah, it's tax surprise because you forgot that when that money was going in, it was never taxed.
Yeah,
So it has to be tax neutral.
True.
If it's not tax neutral, Max and his friends would have figured out and developed a product very quickly to say, put all your money in the retirement saving product and then take it out later, because there's an arbitrage. There's a mismatch in terms of how the regulator is doing it. So it's tax neutral. It's fair in, fair out.
True.
Right? So I would say it's just the fact that people probably missed the fact that they missed that when you go in, you're not taxed. When you come out, you're have to be taxed.
Yeah.
We have to take it back. The only thing though, and this is not for the seeding amount, the 30,000, which is tiny. The only thing that I would say be careful of is later years. Okay. Because one, nobody stagnates, hey. You should be going up. But if you're going up salary-wise, what have you, you're also going up in terms of like tax bracket.
True.
So then you say, well, I'm clever. I'm not going to take it in the first or the second year. I'm going to take it in the third year.
You would have been higher.
Now you're paying that marginal tax rate there.
Yeah.
Not the one that you see. So there are those types of nuances. The tax burden, you would have paid it in any case. It's not a burden. It's just fairness. I mean, that one, let's just get it sorted.
Clarify it.
I will clarify it.
Yeah.
What you are missing out on is the less tax that you'll pay at retirement.
That's
That
what
one.
it is. Yeah.
You are missing
Because
out.
if you're paying what? Is it 35% now?
Yeah.
When you retire, you would have paid much, much less.
100%. So at that point, firstly, the 550 is tax free.
Already.
Tax free. Come on now.
Mahal.
The money went in. It was not taxed. The
It
growth
comes out. The growth
on the money
is not taxed.
is not taxed. It comes out. Part of it is not taxed.
Yeah.
That's your holiday.
Capital gains.
That's
Zero.
your zero. Nothing. And then
Amazing.
only after that, then you get taxed.
Yeah.
And then there's bands and what have you, and we can, you can have a look at that on the tax tables. So you're missing out on that tax benefit later on by taking the tax liability now versus later on. And remember, I told you, National Treasury, they've always been trying to get people to saving. The tax-free savings account, the endowment, all of these structures, tax-efficient structures, to say, listen, just save a little bit.
It's not easy.
No, it's not easy, but we know why it's not easy.
Yeah, sharp. Possible issues with fund administration.
Yeah.
You in the industry, surely you've heard of people who, or funders or fund administrators that are having, this was a shock to them too.
Well, it wasn't a shock. Like some fund administrators, to be honest, they just have way too many members that they're administering. I mean, one of the biggest would probably be like GPF has
Yeah,
probably like
government.
1 million plus
Yeah.
or so members, and that's a lot of people.
I know there's I read somewhere where it says they need 60 days
Yeah,
from application to processing.
but I think as well, like in terms of SARS dealing with the directives and all the applications, that
It's
was
also-
that was also taking time.
Yeah.
Um,
Because SARS is only one SARS.
It's
dealing
only one
with
SARS.
Everyone.
making sure that David does not lie and say, listen,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I should be getting this, and versus not that, because
Yeah.
there were some directives that were not approved and were rejected because people effectively were not telling the truth.
Mm.
But it all depends on the makeup of some of these. We've got like the umbrella funds where it's one umbrella fund. Usually the sponsors are insurance businesses, and they allow companies to come in and they
Okay.
set up the structure and what have you. You've got your pension and your provident structure, but then anybody can join that, or they might have some criteria and what have you. And there's some that are very small. There's some where only if you work for me, you can belong into that scheme and what have you. And in most cases, I might not want to administer it. Administration of a fund just means I'm taking money from payroll, I'm giving it for the risk benefit, I'm giving it for the savings and what have you.
You administer the payout.
I'm administering all of these other things. There's critical illness. Yeah, there's Section 189, or somebody's being let go, and I need to handle all of those things, and I'm moving money around and all those. So that's the administration of the fund itself, right? Some funds have a lot of people,
And that can be a problem.
yeah, and the makeup of the people are the people that had a higher affinity towards
Claiming.
That's where you had the problems.
Yeah, because I got a lot of those type of phone calls today that
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
They're asking for this and they're asking for that. They even want an affidavit. They want to prove if my bank
100%.
account is correct. Yet they pay the salary to that same account. Why all of a sudden are they questioning such things?
No, remember, so if I belong to an umbrella fund, we are separate. Even if I sponsor, sometimes we're separate. The fund is a separate
to-
legal entity
to the company
itself.
Yes.
That's why you've got like your board of trustees. They look after that. They look after the members. They need to be objective, because as an employer or as a company, I might want to influence certain things and what have you. And that's not necessarily what like it's not in the spirit of how things should be happening.
You shouldn't be too close to it.
So you'll see this a lot, even with beneficiary nomination forms. I know a lot of people probably watching now, they haven't filled it in. It still has the old girlfriend. It was never changed.
I'll see it.
Yeah. And those are very important things, by the way, because they can determine where money goes.
Should you be hit by a bus, for example?
Should you be hit by a bus? Like it's a small but very critical thing.
Forgot.
Yeah. Like it's a critical thing. But if the administrator didn't have your like verification of a bank account, for instance, it could be fraudulent. The cases of fraud, do you know how you'd be surprised? Like there is cases of fraud. Like you can have there was a business, I won't say names and what have you, but it was a bit large business, and they were busy doing like a certain activity, like employee activity, called like retrenchments, whatever the case may be. The guy around the corner knows about it and what have you. That's a potential opportunity for fraud.
Can create fake people.
Yeah, because now, well, not even fake people. Ubra David doesn't know how to read. But now I know there's activities happening. Let me help you. And I change things.
Change accounts. Where the money is supposed to be deposited.
100%. So the administrator needs to safeguard against some of those. Yes, it's painful, it's frustrating, I know. But it's in your best interest.
Yeah. And have you heard of, in your opinion, do you think this thing was well communicated to Port?
Listen, so remember it was supposed to be in March.
Then it was moved to
It
September.
was moved to September because the industry was not ready. And I think
And there was hostility.
And there was hostility as well, yeah. So I think the industry did what they could. They really did what they could, but a little bit of a scrambling here and there. It was very complex at the time. I remember we did a session in, in a previous role. We did a session, and I got like our legal advisors and what have you to come and speak to not members, to our financial advisors.
Because they interface.
They interface
with the members, yeah.
to say, come and have a chat with them. And, sometimes speakers are different, but it was complex. Like this was nothing we've seen.
We've done before.
We haven't done it. And remember, this is not the only one. This is the one that is most spoken about. But if you trace it back, 2012 was a time when things started moving. There's a lot of things that changed.
In this direction.
A lot of things. Harmonization, the changes between this. There's a lot. Default regulations came in. So there was a lot of change that happened in the retirement fund system.
Yeah.
To get to this point. And this was the end point. Well, there might be one or two things that they continue doing, but like there was a lot of change. And people were like, I think, and the introduction of the retirement benefit counselor, for instance, in the default regulation to say, we want a warm body as part of a fund to the members to explain in simple English or simple Zulu, simple Pedi, whatever the case might be, what the default strategy is, investment strategy, what the default annuitization strategy is, what the default preservation, how the fund actually works.
Yeah.
And for the board of trustees to say, if somebody does not fill in a form, where should they go? Which investment strategy should they be going into? If they do not fill in a form when they resign, what should we do with that money? So those are defaults. When it gets to retirement, if somebody does not select, what should we be advocating for? So those were some of the changes that came through. So it wasn't that everyone speaks about the two-pot system, but the industry has been speaking about a lot of things.
For a while.
So I think they've done what they could. I saw a lot of conversation happening, even on mainstream media as well.
Look, we've kept it alive for a while on our show, yeah.
Yeah, and we have to continue. Like listen, our people are starting to earn meaningful amounts of money. So financial conversations should not be something that we leave for at a point in time. It's something that should be normal conversation.
And it shouldn't be once-offs.
No.
In and out.
No. It has to be something that is continuous.
It's one of the reasons why I invited you here.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for, like creating the space for us to have this conversation, to engage on such matters.
Yeah.
But it is important that we have these conversations. It is important that people know about them. Because you can't control something that you're not aware of. You need to be aware first, so that you know where the gaps are.
True.
So that you know where the light is not and where the darkness is.
Yeah.
And where there's darkness, shine light on it. Look at the gaps. And then if you don't know what to do, go get a financial consultant who's also a financial project manager to sort it out for you. And then you pay them whatever is fair.
Has there been a lot of claims from a PPS point of view? I asked this question because your target audience is very different.
No, it is.
It's your target audience, professionals and so forth, forth. One thing I've picked up with Two-Pot is that it concentrated to a particular market. It's open to everyone, but there's a particular audience that just took up this opportunity a lot higher.
Remember, it was for in distress.
That's the key word.
Yeah, that's what I think Treasury was saying, listen, we're doing something fantastic, like we just came out of COVID. And in these stressful times, people can do this.
When you really need money.
And you've got no other sources.
Here's Two-Pot.
You can take
so those that dipped into it and just blew it, they show that there was no distress.
You see, like National Treasury wasn't thinking about them.
So yes, in your case.
Yeah, so in our case, I think I did check with our head of retail distribution, and it's probably like 3%.
Oh.
Yeah, because again, so, and it's that thing that, which one was the strictest? So a lot of the people come in and they buy our retirement annuities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. and it was always the strictest of the lot. You could have bought anything, but if you're buying this one, you've made up your mind.
That I'm not, this is how it's going to be. And it's
Yeah.
going to be fixed.
It's going to be fixed.
Yes.
So now contextually, you're coming in now, and the new context is you can dip into it. But you never came in with the hope that you can touch it.
Yeah.
So we didn't, like I said, and also given how, like professionals would earn 30,000 at a high marginal tax rate, 16,500. What are you going to do with it? It's pointless. Just leave it.
Yeah.
So
Unless in distress.
Unless in distress. And not this, like I'm interested to follow the dynamics of withdrawals and what have you. Not this year.
Next year.
Next year, year after that.
Give us, explain this again to us, the next year withdrawals. We know 30,000.
We know 30,000.
We all know it.
Yes.
Is how it works.
Yeah.
It has a percentage of tax based on your tax bracket.
Yes.
We know that.
Yeah.
Now next year.
Next year. Not even next year. Starting from 1st of September, like that contribution.
2025.
2024. Like we are already in that space.
Oh yeah,
now,
okay.
Right. Any contribution, retirement contribution. Remember, I earn 100 rands. I contribute 15%. So 15 rands goes in. On that 15 rands, 1/3 will go this side and 2/3 will go. So I'd call it 5 and 10. So 5 rands goes into my savings pot.
10 goes this side.
10 goes into that side. The 5 rands finds the 30,000. Okay. So now I might have taken it. I might have not. Okay. Now I continue. Every 12 months, okay, I've got the option to take those 5 rands that I've put away. I can take all of it. The minimum is 2,000. I can take whatever is sitting in there.
Wow.
So that's what I'm talking about. That going forwards, every contribution is split into 2. 2/3 retirement component or pot.
Stays.
1/3 goes into that savings pot.
I can take it.
You can take it. Every 12 months, you can take it. Minimum, there's a minimum. But there's no maximum. So now you can leave it. So hence I was saying.
You can leave it for a while.
You can leave it for a while.
And wait for distress.
Wait for distress. Or somebody's going to say, well, you see, that's my little savings. But again, in most cases, I would assume you would have commuted up the tax brackets. I would assume you would have made good investment returns.
So there may not be a need.
Yeah, there may not be a need, but now you're going to be paying a lot more tax than when you're contributing. So, like, that's the thing that it doesn't worry me. I'm just saying I'm really interested to see how it works out. On our side, our members, they didn't take much.
Do you anticipate this affecting some funds?
No, I think because you've got that sticky money in the 2/3,
and
it'll
it's
still
more
continue.
Yes.
The one thing that we were thinking about, and not even we, I'd say like the industry was, like there was conversations, was probably on the investment strategy at a fund level. So where you've got, say, like a company-sponsored fund or an umbrella fund, or whatever the case might be, and there's one default strategy, then the question would be, should we have a strategy for the 2/3 versus the 1/3? Should it be the same? There's a bit more liquidity, so like this money can go. How should you be investing it versus how should you be investing? The one that's a little bit more sticky, and the one that's a little bit more sticky, you can't touch it up until a certain point in time. You can deploy it into assets that are, we talked about dry lands.
Yes.
That are really dry lands. Building wind farms is, nobody just wakes up and says, I'm going to build a wind farm. I need like proper returns from you. So, those are dry lands. But they've got massive upside. So we talk about alternatives and whatever. And you'll hear me talking about, hedge funds and this and this.
Yes.
So we do it from a PPS investments point of view. But there is other ones that you can look at it. EduFund, for instance, is one that we've committed to, and I think they are drawing down on that. And they build schools. You see a Curo, Mercury is a school operator, not necessarily a school.
No. It's not a school. It's a school business.
It's a school business.
Yes.
Somebody built that school.
Mm-hmm.
And they, like from a fund point of view, they go, they build those schools, and they contract with the operators and what have you, and the school is running, providing private education at like affordable rates and what have you, and so on, which is fantastic, right? But they still like it's a good thing. It's not just like from our side. We always talk about like it's like an infinite loop. We invest in education, and at the end we get members, right? But during that time, for Brother David, who was invested with us, that would have yielded good returns. I can assure you of that. We've looked at it. We've looked at the investments that they've got, the types of targets that they're looking at. So it is good business. You're doing good business. It's good for the soul. It's good for the person who's given us and entrusted us with the money. It's good for us long term because we'll get members out of the schools as well. So I always love talking about it because now you have to like you like it is an infinite loop that continues on, and it's just like a fantastic story.
I want us to carry on more on other days.
Yeah.
And next time I do this, I'd love to do it live.
Yeah.
With audiences watching and sending voice notes and calling. And so it can be an honest a conversation where you're actually getting to engage with people who are either experiencing lifestyle issues.
Yes.
Or they're experiencing retirement challenges, whatever story we get.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot to be learned by people on the ground, because there's no way I'll be able to ask all the questions that people have.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's
but I'm curious to know if something like this would work, where we just open the lines. It's not on the radio.
Yeah.
It goes for as long as we feel, we've done enough.
Yeah.
And we open the lines and hear what people have to say. You'll be blown away by some of the financial decisions that are made.
Listen, like I said, I'm no saint.
Yes.
Even I need somebody to hold me accountable. Like Brother David, it's that thing where I'll give you a real thing. Okay, you go to school. Mom and dad, they give you, like, when I was still going, it was like 10 rands a week, 20 rands, whatever the case might be, like small money, right? You go to varsity. If you're lucky enough, you've got a bursary, and then you've got like some money that's coming through, or you depend on mom and dad again, or your guardians if you don't have mom and dad, right? And they're giving you that money, but you're accountable
to that.
Keyword. You're accountable to somebody outside of yourself. You start working. You're no longer accountable to anybody. Now you can just do as you see.
It's your man.
It's your man. Yeah, it's your mind, and that's the state in which we are in. Yeah. We are in that state where nobody's accountable to anybody because it's your money. That's why sometimes it seems like I sound like a broken record when I say outsource. Like you need a partner. You need somebody who will say to you, "Nah, we are better.
You can't afford this.
Nah, you can't do that." This is not what you said you want to do. You said you want to do this. You at a point in time, in 5 years' time, you want to go on holiday each and every year for 5 years. So that's what we're working on. Why are we buying a BMW now?
I can answer that, but I'm not going to.
So I think if we open up the live conversations, the types of questions that will come through, the golden thread amongst all of them is going to be that.
You'll find behavioral issues.
There wasn't accountability.
Yeah. I've said this many times. I said at the heart of the stories of struggle, you are likely to find a bad decision.
Somewhere.
Yeah. It's not all bad luck.
No. Sometimes there's unknown unknowns. We live in that. We live in that world. We're not saying we're comfortable in that world, but our members, clients, they trust us to say, listen, even in that world of unknown unknowns, you might have an edge on what I would do in that situation.
Yeah.
We talk about you have to have the skin for it. I need to be able to say, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Abel. Like I remember it. It's like, I remember Des Van Rooyen. Like I remember that. I remember how.
I remember that moment when things just changed.
Yeah, I remember 2018 and how of a whiplash the market was.
Or 2008,
Oh,
when it was the whole world was in disarray. When we felt like South Africa is not entirely affected. What's going on?
You'll hear. I love, so you can learn all you can learn, but if you sit down with senior leaders, especially as a youngster, like you sit down and you just listen to them, you get your mentors around and whatever. I remember one of the she was a CEO of one of the passive businesses, well-known passive businesses, and she said to me, Max, you don't know how cold it was to be running a quantitative business, a passive business in 2008.
Wow.
Remember, in those types of businesses, you're not trying to time with this. You just hold the market. The market goes down, you go down with it.
Like you're almost like you're on a roller coaster.
You're on a roller coaster. But that's what you say you will give people. But in any case, all I'm saying is that when we do have those conversations, and whatever the case might be, there will be those instances where contextually it was unfair to you. Contextually,
it wasn't you.
It wasn't you.
Yeah,
you did everything that you could. And then there is that 80%, maybe it's 50-50. I don't know. Whatever the case might be.
But it was all you.
Where it was all you.
Yeah, the heart, man, is a tricky thing. The heart likes things. Things are nice. Things are pretty. And things look like they suit
shiny.
Me. They suit me. This thing looks good on me.
It looks good.
This Gucci thing. It looks good on me.
No, that is very true.
Yeah, and I can't help it. This thing is. Have you seen a Gucci bag?
Yeah,
men bag.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I must admit, I don't have any of those things. No. I'm lucky that God hasn't given me the eye. I don't see.
You don't see it.
I'm not able to.
But again, okay, valuation. Okay, so you go into a store. Don't look at the price tag. Don't look at the name. Look at everything else and value it.
I wonder if honestly we had to, if we had to put people here and say, how much is this?
Value it.
But what variables are you applying to value it?
Now you're a taker. You're a taker of prices. You're not price making. You're not the one who's making the market.
You're not saying, but this thing should be.
You're a buyer. That's all you are.
Yeah.
You're going in, price taker. I'll take the price. You're not going in and saying, I'll value this. This to me looks like 200. It's 2,000. Sorry, I'm out.
I'm the wrong person.
See, and the other way to do it, to try and curtail that, is to go to I Am Legend. If it was just you
on planet Earth,
because there is perception of value, which is advocated from certain things. Positional value, Nina. Iamile.
Yes.
Right? Positional value. Because I've got it and you don't have it, I'm more valuable
than you.
That's your brand thing.
Yeah, that's Gucci.
Yeah. So there's work on it, on perceived value.
Yeah.
See, the value of an umbrella on a rainy day versus the value of an umbrella on a non-rainy day is not the same.
Not at all.
See.
Yeah.
So I remember we wrote something, I think it was 2-3 years back, just on that, like just on value. You have to be very intentional when it comes to that, and it's the same thing as I'm 25, I'm 65, value.
True.
What's the value of this note, of this Mandela? What's the value? Perceived, positional. And there's theories around it.
I want you to conclude by telling relatively young people,
yeah,
who where they know they don't have retirement fund of any kind.
Yeah.
It crosses their mind.
Mm.
They're hearing this two-part conversation happening. They have a job.
Yeah.
They've been earning probably now 15 years, 10
Yeah.
years. They're 35. They're not that young anymore, actually.
Yeah.
And they haven't taken retirement. They postpone it.
Mm.
When they get those phone calls
Mm.
and somebody trying to make an appointment, they get irritated by them.
100%.
What do you say to those young people now?
I'll take it back to the same thing. You're an asset. See, you're valuable.
Mm.
See, people are calling you. You're an asset.
Somebody's seeing value.
Somebody's seeing value. Okay? Even your employers saw value. That's why you're employed. There'll come a day.
Mm.
That won't be the case. Unfortunately. It happens. Take a walk in the morning or go to the mall very early in the morning. Go to Wimpy's and whatever. And go see who's eating breakfast during that time. They've got nothing to do, those people. They wake up 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. They've got nothing to do. All they can do is go sit and eat and come back. And I don't know what else they do is what all people do. Like that's all they're going to do.
I can tell you, my mom watches my podcasts.
There we go. Right?
That's what she does.
Or they call everybody. They call all the siblings. They call you today and tomorrow and what have you. They check on you all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So there'll come a time when you're not as valuable. You're not unbreakable. You're not always going to be in the state that you're in. It is prudent. It is important. It is you're being a good person by then saying, I'm going to take a piece of me or a piece of this value and put it somewhere else.
To my future self.
To my future self. That's all. That's all you're doing. Recreate the value that is in you somewhere else. Time is your friend. If you've got time on your side, the market, I promise you, the market will be your friend as well. You've got enough time to recover from all the ups and downs.
From Ukraine.
And all of those things. So take, I'm not saying all of it, a piece of what the ecosystem, what the community, what the world says. Listen, we see value in you. We see value in all of those long hours when nobody was looking in the library. We see value in that. Take some of it and say, I'm not sure what it could be in the future, but I'm going to continue in the same manner and put some into another asset, build up another asset, totally independent of me, such that one day I can look at that asset and say, there's a valuable asset. And that valuable asset will give you the lifestyle that you enjoy.
Wow, man. You said it. If you're a political party, I would vote for you. Thank you so much. It's Max Mojapelo of PPS. Is it PPS Insurance? PPS Investment? There's all sorts of...
PPS is the group. We do have insurance, but I am from the investment side. I have always been and always will be investments.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank
We'll
you
do
for
it
having
again.
Nah.
I think I'll open the lines. We'll even run promos and tell people he's coming. He'll tell you the truth. I hope he doesn't post on social media got BMA ready.
No.
I thought, look at him telling us these things, and there he's driving a red BMW.
No, you're not going to find that. You'll be very much disappointed. Frugal as they come.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
King David Studio Podcast.